A man wanted to know how many leg hairs he had. So he walked into a haunted hospital, carrying 3 grenades. The ghostly old man trembled in fear at such a question. One wrong answer, and his head would be lopped off. He never imagined that the terror of countless people would now become a lamb awaiting slaughter. 3 years ago, the eerie world descended. People were dragged into a game called Hell, forced to complete horrifying missions while the entire world watched live. Winners grew stronger with rewards. Losers had their lifespan permanently cut until death. The top psychologist, Zhao Yi, was also pulled into the game. The moment he appeared, all eyes were on him. His mental strength reached 101%. Even the current top-ranked player, Dragon Emperor Demon God, had only 100%. Unfortunately, he was randomly sent to the deadliest dungeon, Giant Elephant Hospital. The moment he entered, the system's code fell into chaos. In the operating room, Zhao Yi slowly regained consciousness. He pushed himself up from a broken iron bed, stretching his limbs. A faint blood-red glimmer flashed in his eyes. Then streams of unstable data appeared. Wall, neutral, unbreakable. Door, neutral, requires keycard. Unknown shadow, danger. The message was clear. The keycard was the way out, and escaping the hospital was the ultimate goal. Confirming there was no danger, Zhao Yi pushed the door open. The flickering lights revealed walls covered in rotting mold. At room 409, he heard faint noises. Through the crack, he saw a dying old man lying on a bed. The old man begged, "Young man, I need to use the restroom. Can you help me up?" Zhao Yi didn't answer right away. He studied the man closely. Data popped up again. Lu Laoan, high danger. Immobile. Slow. A trap-type monster? Strong combat stats, but rooted in place, narrow attack range, and even a fatal weakness. Zhao Yi's mind raced. Then he stepped toward the old man. On the bed, a flash of malice flickered in the old man's eyes. In a live stream chat, people mocked the newcomer as an idiot. But they soon realized something was off. Zhao Yi suddenly stopped moving. Then he circled behind the old man. In the next instant, a sharp scalpel pressed against Lu's forehead. The old man panicked. "What are you doing?" Zhao Yi spoke calmly. "Answer my question. Get it right, and I'll take you to the restroom. Get it wrong, and I'll cut off your head." With the scalpel so close, Lu had no choice but to comply. Bound by the game's rules, he couldn't even turn around, reduced to a lamb awaiting slaughter. Zhao Yi sneered. "So, how many leg hairs do I have?" The chat exploded with question marks. When Lu hesitated, Zhao Yi slowly pushed the scalpel forward. Terrified, Lu begged, "Don't kill me. Ask another question." Zhao Yi paused, then nodded. "Fine. Where's the hospital's key card?" Relieved, Lu quickly answered, "There are 3. One with the director, one in logistics, and one..." Before he could finish, a slash cut his throat wide open. Zhao Yi smirked. "Sorry, just messing with you. I don't have that many questions." Ding. Your soul weapon has absorbed a ghost's resentment. Scalpel unlocked. Now deals bonus damage to spirits. Lu Laoan slain. Slight power boost obtained. Just then, a folder on the nearby table caught Zhao Yi's attention. The moment he picked it up, the system chimed. Hidden quest triggered. Hidden quest. Lu Laohan's last wish. The old man's corpse suddenly sat up. "Young man, thank you for setting me free. Inside that folder is a property deed. That was my only savings in life. My daughter, Lu Shui, in order to claim it, secretly slept with the director of Giant Elephant Hospital, plotting together to kill me. But later, she died in an elevator accident. The matter ended there. I beg you, kill the director for me. In exchange, that deed will be yours." The system chimed again. Item acquired. Lu Laohan's property deed. Quality, green. The live stream exploded. Holy shit, insane. This newbie actually unlocked Giant Elephant Hospital's hidden quest. So Lu couldn't move at all. How did he know that? Who just called him brain dead? Stand up now. Amid the chaos, a highlighted comment appeared. A bit of a lucky break, but impressive nonetheless. His mindset, judgment, and reaction speed are solid. Wait, isn't that Yang Tao, vice president of the Warhorn Alliance Guild? Sir, is your guild recruiting? Pick me, I'm already level 12. Yang Tao replied flatly, not recruiting, just checking out this year's rookies. He then kept watching Zhao Yi's every move, breaking down the situation. Lu just hinted his daughter died in the elevator. That means the elevators can't be used. At this point, Zhao Yi's best move is to abandon the hidden quest and take the stairs. The key cards might be in the elevator, but the place is likely tainted with resentment. Far too dangerous. Mid-sentence, Yang Tao froze. Because Zhao Yi was walking straight toward the elevator, property deed in hand. He stared at the doors for a long moment, then pressed the button. A system prompt popped up. Elevator, low danger. Contains one wraith. Its strength and resistance have been heavily reduced, but it still has 5 times human physique. You cannot fight it barehanded. Zhao Yi's lips curled into a grin. So your Lu's daughter in there? Severely weakened strength and resistance? Perfect. With that, he strode into the elevator. Outside the game, viewers tensed up. Everyone knew the saying, elevators are coffins. Entering one in a world like this was sheer madness. As the lift descended, the lights flickered unnaturally. Zhao Yi scanned his surroundings. Suddenly, a thick drop of liquid splashed onto his forehead. Then, a hand clamped onto his shoulder. Zhao Yi whipped his head around, right into a mangled, bloodied face. Yet to everyone's shock, he showed no fear. Instead, a faint excitement glimmered across his face. So, you're Lu Leiahan's daughter? Seeing the man before her completely unfazed, Lu Shui was stunned. After a pause, she asked, I'm Lu Shui. Are you here to avenge me? Zhao Yi shook his head. No, your father left you something special. A property deed. He told me to hand it to you personally. Lu Shui's eyes widened in disbelief. Her father had left the deed to Zhao Yi, only for it to end up in her hands after all. Spotting her hesitation, Zhao Yi pressed further. Tell me your story. You didn't die in an accident, did you? Why do you want revenge? Lu Shui's aura flared violently. It wasn't an accident. Not at all. Her voice rose in fury. It was the director. He murdered me. He pushed me off the rooftop. She lunged toward Zhao Yi, hissing, kill him. Bring me his head. I'll reward you greatly. Zhao Yi smirked. There was no system prompt. That meant the ghost was lying. So, there was no real vengeance quest. But that didn't matter to him. Scratching his head as if casually, Zhao Yi asked, the director, does he have a weakness? Lu Shui replied, he's the strongest ghost here, but also the weakest. Unlike the others, he doesn't know he's dead. If you can make him realize it, his obsession will vanish, and his power will collapse. As she finished, Zhao Yi handed her the deed along with a strange sphere. Got it. The deed is yours. I'll find a way to avenge you. Without suspicion, Lu Shui accepted the items. Zhao Yi, however, strolled away humming a tune, twirling a grenade's pin between his fingers. After a brief pause, boom, a thunderous explosion erupted. The livestream chat went silent in shock. When the smoke cleared, only Lu Shui's severed head remained inside the elevator. Viewers were shaken to the core. Wasn't he supposed to be a psychiatrist? Why the hell is he carrying grenades? Guild Vice President Yang Tao's eyes lit up. Brilliant. The deed was her obsession. He used it to bait her, made her drop her guard. Most players only think of running from ghosts, but he turned the tables. In that instant, Yang Tao felt an urge to recruit Zhao Yi into his guild, an exception worth making. On the floor, the mangled head grew even more grotesque, blood pooling as its eyes locked on Zhao Yi, filled with venomous hatred. You dare trick me? Zhao Yi gave no reply. He simply grabbed the ghost's head, then flung it across the hall. Hey, your head's pretty bouncy, huh? He clapped his hands in disgust. Just a bit sticky. Then he drew his rusted scalpel. The ghost's hateful eyes suddenly filled with terror. Don't kill me, please. Zhao Yi grinned madly. My scalpel is fast. You won't feel a thing. Her shrill please echoed endlessly through the corridor. Then the scalpel slid into the back of her skull. The screams cut off. Ding! Scalpel soaked in ghost blood. Something has awakened. Your soul weapon evolves. Attributes enhanced. With the ghost dispatched, Zhao Yi felt a rush of exhilaration flood his body. After the boost, Zhao Yi's strength rose to 5 points. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed in the distance. Zhao Yi slowly stood and turned around. A half-decayed old man shuffled into view, wearing a grotesque grin. But the moment his eyes fell on the terrified ghost head Zhao Yi was holding, that grin vanished instantly. Zhao Yi asked politely, "Do you need any assistance?" The old ghost's hair stood on end. He spun on his heel and bolted. Holy hell, this guy's scarier than me. Run faster. Watching the ghost flee in panic, the live stream erupted. Viewer count shot from 101 to over 60,000 in seconds. No way. This rookie actually scared a ghost off? Are we sure he's a psychiatrist and not a psychopath? Zhao Yi dropped the severed head. With his strength boosted from 2 to 5, he felt raw power coursing through him, his body brimming with energy like he stood at the very peak. He then headed to the hospital's first-floor lobby, where he found a map. Following its directions, he made his way to the next destination, the security room. As soon as he opened the door, several corpses lay neatly inside. What he needed now was proof, something to show the director he was already dead. With security monitors and maybe even a printer here, this room was perfect. The first thing Zhao Yi did was pull out his scalpel, cutting the heads off the corpses one by one, arranging them neatly with flowers beside them. The viewers shuddered. This guy's definitely got some mental issues. But Yang Tao explained, in rookie dungeons, some ghosts are heavily restricted and fake death to ambush players. What Zhao Yi did might look insane, but it guarantees safety. The audience reluctantly agreed. Still, was this really something a first-time player should be doing? Meanwhile, Zhao Yi casually washed his hands. After finishing, he sat at the desk, logged onto the computer, and began searching. Soon, he dug up old news about Giant Elephant Hospital, clipped the key images, and printed them out. Once satisfied, he turned to leave, then froze. He doubled back, lifted his scalpel, and drove it into each severed head on the table. The chat went silent, dumbstruck. Only then did Zhao Yi sigh in relief, muttering, "Knew I forgot something. Now, you really won't be coming back." With that, he stepped out into the hall. The corridor was chillingly eerie, damp air thick with unnatural black mist. Ding. Ghost fog neutral. Note, induces fear, reduces sanity. No effect on Zhao Yi. Reading the prompt, Zhao Yi thought for a moment, then strode boldly into the fog without hesitation. A wall of black mist closed in, blocking Zhao Yi's vision. Whispers crept into his ears. What value do you have alive? No one loves you. You'll die in this game. For most players, this was pure mental corruption. But Zhao Yi remained unfazed, because long ago, he heard countless horrific whispers every single day. From the moment he woke to the moment he slept, there was never peace. Those voices were far more vicious than these, each dripping with pure malice. To him, this place actually felt like home. He strolled through the mist with eerie calm. Soon, he reached the end of the hall, where faint crying echoed. Ding! Side quest triggered. Help the crying ghost fulfill her wish. Zhao Yi glanced at the prompt, interest sparking in his eyes. Following the sound, scalpel in hand, he arrived at room 1007. The crying came from inside. He tried the doorknob. It wasn't locked. The live stream chat held its breath. Oh God, I can't breathe. If he opens that door, he's dead. A few seconds dragged on like years. Just as tension peaked, Zhao Yi released the knob. He stepped back cautiously, eyes shifting to the top of the door. Ding. Door. Extreme danger. Breakable. The data was simple, but enough. He drew his scalpel. After a quick measure, he drove the blade into the wooden door. Again and again, each strike fast, precise, and merciless. Screams tore out from behind the door. Viewers shuddered. This rookie's insane. I'm starting to feel sorry for the director. Damn, if I ever meet this psycho, I'm running the other way. With the door ghost slain, Zhao Yi stopped. Ding. You have killed the door ghost. Soul weapon enhanced. He glanced at his scalpel. No obvious change, just a faint improvement. Still better than nothing. Crimson blood seeped through the cracks. The extreme danger label vanished. Zhao Yi finally pushed the door open. Ding. Crying ghost. Intermediate danger. Inside, the ghost huddled in the corner, trembling. She had seen everything. Zhao Yi advanced, scalpel in hand. Terrified, the crying ghost shrieked, "Don't kill me. Don't kill me." Waves of invisible sound pulsed outward. Her signature attack. Most players would lose their sanity instantly. But with mental strength at 101, Zhao Yi didn't even flinch. The audience buzzed with anticipation. What's he gonna do? Kill her right there? They say she's got more tricks. Reaching her, Zhao Yi slowly crouched down. He placed a hand gently on her head. The viewers gasped. The man who butchered ghosts without mercy, showing tenderness? Just then, a woman swirled a glass of red wine and spoke. He's doing it right. Shock the ghost first, then comfort it. That builds trust, key to clearing the side quest. Holy crap, even Goddess Hongying is here. A group of men rushed over immediately. Goddess, can I get your autograph? Goddess, let me hold your wine glass. Goddess Hongying, do you still need a backup boyfriend? If not, mind adding one more. Goddess Hongying frowned, her lips curling as she spat out a single word, scram. She scolded me. I'm saving the recording. I'll play it 10,000 times at home. She ignored them, eyes fixed on the screen with interest. The rookies in the Bone District are entertaining today. I just came from another newbie stream. That chubby kid cleared the Hunter game in only 46 minutes, breaking a 3-year record. And this one, Zhao, he's no ordinary rookie either. Let's see what his side quest is. After Zhao Yi's gentle touch, the crying ghost visibly calmed down. She asked hesitantly, "You're not here to kill me, are you?" Zhao Yi didn't answer. He simply kept stroking her head with a kind expression. That convinced her he meant no harm. So she let her guard down and began telling her story. I've been here for so long. Finally, someone willing to help me. Back then, my mother was gravely ill. This hospital promised they could save her, but demanded a fortune in medical fees. The ghost continued, unaware that Zhao Yi was already tightening his grip on the scalpel. His body shifted slightly, positioning himself for a perfect strike. Then his arm shot upward. In an instant, the blade ripped through her neck. The crying ghost froze in disbelief. Slash. Blood sprayed everywhere. Zhao Yi didn't stop. He hacked at her skull several more times. Only when she finally went limp did he exhale. The chat exploded. What the hell? He skipped the dialogue by brute force? That's insane. But now he's lost the key info. The side quest's ruined. Hongying Goddess wasted her analysis. This guy doesn't play by any rules. Zhao Yi couldn't care less. The crying ghost was an intermediate threat, meaning she had a way to hurt him. Better to kill her outright. Side quests weren't part of his plan. Ding. You have slain the crying ghost. Soul weapon enhanced. He searched the room and obtained an item. Crying ghost diary. Opening it, words appeared on the pages. November 12th. Sunny. Mother's condition worsened. I kept typing to earn money. I dozed off caring for her, lost my full attendance bonus this month. Begged my editor, but he said nothing could be done. This weekend, I'll try to take side jobs. Hope I can gather the surgery fees soon. December 12th, got a food delivery job. Tough, but at least there's hope. December 17th, it's rained 10 straight days, flooding the town. I fell while delivering food today. Lost the day's pay. February 9th, 3 months of nonstop rain. Delivery's impossible. Mother's worse. What should I do? March 18th, thunderstorm. What happened to this town? Why did I suddenly change like this? The streets are empty. Where did everyone go? Zhao Yi shut the diary. Useless. Nothing he could use. Wait. He muttered the line again. Hope I can gather the surgery fees soon. Surgery for my mother. Turning sharply, he left the room. The viewers were puzzled. Why is he heading the other way? That's just patient wards, not the director's office. What's he doing? Mapping the place. Yang Tao answered calmly. He's eliminating possibilities. The crying ghost mentioned her mother repeatedly. That means the quest ties to her. If he finds the mother, he can continue the side quest. The damp floor creaked under his steps. Zhao Yi halted at a ward. Finally, he pushed the door open and strode inside. The ward held only one female ghost, clearly the crying ghost's mother. Zhao Yi had found his target. Interact, extract info, advance the quest. While the viewers speculated, Zhao Yi smiled politely. Hello, are you Ah Xiao's mother? Ah Xiao, the name signed at the end of the diary. Surrounded by chilling aura, the ghost turned with a deathly smile. Her voice rasped, I am Ah Xiao's mother. What do you want? Zhao Yi's face lit up with excitement. Perfect. Finally found you. If I may ask, do you have a husband or any relatives in this hospital? The ghost hesitated, then shook her head. No. Then why seek me out? She asked, even as her hair twisted unnaturally, stretching toward the doorway like phantom tendrils, clearly trying to trap him inside. Zhao Yi relaxed. Good. That makes things easier. Now, I don't have to run around anymore. With that, he casually pulled out a grenade and tossed it straight at her. The ghost froze the instant she saw the grenade. By the time she realized she should throw it away, it was already too late. Zhao, he casually waved his hand and strode toward the exit. The moment the door shut, a deafening blast erupted, shaking the entire building to its core. Holy shit! The livestream chat was stunned, and even Yang Tao, who had been confidently predicting Zhao Yi's moves, looked utterly embarrassed. As the smoke cleared, Zhao Yi pushed the door open again. The ghost on the bed had been reduced to ashes. The room was a wreck. Viewers shuddered. A normal player would try to get info first, right? But this guy, he just drops a grenade, then asks if she has family, like he's planning to wipe out the whole bloodline. Yang Tao analyzed grimly. This rookie's terrifying. His logic is completely twisted. The hospital isn't that big. The ghost fog would find him eventually. To prevent revenge, he struck first, killed the entire family. Is this guy a psychiatrist or just a lunatic? Zhao, he muttered calmly. Now I can finally head to the director's office. He turned toward the rooftop. Along the way, every ghost hid in fear, trembling, praying he wouldn't kick their doors open. After searching, he arrived at the director's office. Even before entering, he felt a suffocating aura of death. Through shattered glass, he saw a body hanging from the ceiling, swaying gently. Ding! Director of Elephant Hospital, extreme danger. Do not engage head-on. Zhao Yi paused, then pulled out the papers he had printed earlier. He uncapped a pen, circled several key lines in red, then taped the sheet directly onto his own face. Bang! The door flew open with a single kick. The instant Zhao Yi stepped inside, a crushing sense of death engulfed him. The director let out a guttural roar, head snapping toward him. Pale hands lashed out, seizing Zhao Yi's throat. He was lifted high into the air, powerless to resist. The director's mouth split all the way to his ears, jaws gaping wide, ready to swallow Zhao Yi whole. At that moment, the director couldn't avoid seeing the paper on Zhao Yi's face. Boldly circled words and images read. March 6th, Giant Elephant Hospital was invaded by an unknown force. All personnel perished. None survived. The director froze, as if a long-buried memory had surfaced. The strength in his hands that were choking Zhao Yi's neck quickly weakened. I died. I died. Impossible, he muttered, slipping into madness. Seizing the moment, Zhao Yi pulled out his sole weapon, the scalpel. With blinding speed, he unleashed the fastest strike of his life, stabbing straight into the director's brow. Zhao Yi crashed back to the ground in a disheveled heap. Ding! You have slain the dungeon boss. Soul weapon enhanced. Attributes slightly increased. After the boost, Zhao Yi's strength jumped from 5 to 8. The livestream chat erupted. Holy crap. So that's what the printed paper was for? How'd he take down the boss so easily? Item, bloodstained scalpel, unique quality. Description, your soul weapon has absorbed the resentment of a vengeful spirit, triggering a minor awakening. It now carries a faint chaos damage effect. Chaos damage ignores resistances, evasion, and damage reduction, always dealing full damage to any target. Chaos damage? Is that some kind of high-tier attribute? Zhao Yi memorized the note silently. He then glanced at the director's body, still swaying slightly, and yanked the scalpel out from the man's forehead. With the director dealt with, Zhao Yi began rummaging through the office. From the crybaby's diary, it was clear this town had once suffered an invasion of mysterious forces. As such a major boss, the director had to be hiding something important. The diary's entries only deepened Zhao Yi's curiosity about this world. The giant elephant hospital and the town had clearly fallen due to some unknown incursion. Zhao Yi thought to himself that he might never enter this dungeon again. Since he had the chance now, he would dig deeper. Sure enough, inside a drawer, he discovered a key card and a letter. Zhao Yi pulled out the key card and slipped it into his pocket. Then he unfolded the letter from the drawer. The handwriting was messy, the tone urgent. Old Chun, I've already contacted the authorities and bribed the town guards. Gushuan town is no longer safe. You must leave within 2 or 3 days. Head to the Southgate station. There will be a black Daika truck waiting for you. If you delay, disaster will follow. Zhao Yi frowned as he finished reading. He carefully folded the letter back and placed it in the drawer. The letter had no signature, clearly from someone who knew what had happened in Gushuan town. Yet despite the warning, this old Chun, the hospital's director, still met his end here. After searching the office again and finding nothing else, Zhao Yi left. Soon, he arrived at the hospital's front gate. Above, flocks of crows circled endlessly. Around him, shapeless black figures drifted about, their faces too blurred to make out. Holding his breath, Zhao Yi slipped past the shadows and reached the outer fence. Suddenly, a twisted humanoid silhouette appeared ahead, motionless, its back turned to him. A line of data flashed before his eyes. Name, unknown. Danger level, extreme. Do not let it leave your sight, or something terrifying will happen. Cold sweat trickled down his back. Both the system prompt and his instinct screamed the same thing. This thing was far beyond his current strength. Could this be a hidden boss? He quietly drew his scalpel, moving in silence, careful not to make a sound. His eyes never left the warped figure, not daring to relax for even a second. Slipping around it, he quickly swiped the key card. Beep! The rusted gate screeched like a machine that hadn't moved in centuries. Zhao Yi's gaze stayed locked on the figure. Step by step, he backed out through the gate. Beyond the fence lay only thick fog, impenetrable and silent. Clearly, the beginner dungeon didn't want to reveal more. Zhao Yi shut the gate gently and backed into the mist. A system chime rang. Dungeon clear. Beginning transmission. Relief washed over him. The fog swallowed him whole. His figure vanished into the mist. Only then did the twisted humanoid stir. Like a puppet coming to life, it slowly raised its head, coldly staring in the direction Zhao Yi had disappeared. The system voice echoed again. Congratulations, player Zhao Yi. Main quest / escape giant elephant hospital, complete. Hidden quest / old Lu's last wish, complete. Side quest / crying ghost wish, failed. Story exploration, 88%. World exploration, 16%. Rank, S+. Rewards, 25 EXP, old Lu's property deed, title / scourge of ghosts. The endless stream of rewards made the live stream explode with excitement. No one expected a rookie to score S+ in a hell-tier dungeon. Zhao Yi, however, remained calm. With the rewards credited, he leveled up to 2 and pocketed old Lu's property deed. The next instant, he appeared in the safe zone, Eternal Night Camp. The so-called safe zone wasn't a real place in the traditional sense, but a virtual hub. Here, players could watch live streams, trade items, and exchange dungeon strategies or survival tips. Zhao Yi opened his info panel. 2 options popped up. Choose a guild to join, or create one of your own. He didn't rush to decide, planning to understand the situation first. His friend requests were already overflowing. Many names shone with golden marks, clearly belonging to elites. The player beside him gasped in shock. Damn, bro, who the hell are you? So many top guilds are inviting you. Seeing Zhao Yi's confused look, the man hurried to explain. These big guilds almost never recruit newbies. The fact they're sending you invites is insane. Join them and you'll get endless resources, rush world quests, and skyrocket your survival chances. Zhao Yi simply waved his hand, showing he wasn't interested for now. Instead, he opened the marketplace. The shelves were packed, ghost-banishing artifacts, mysterious potions that boosted stats. Each item came with a price and points, and the only way to earn points was by clearing dungeons. Zhao Yi then pulled up the leaderboards. There were 5 categories: Rookie, Guild, Leveling, Wealth, and Fame. Thanks to his S+ score, Zhao Yi was already ranked first on the rookie board. He skimmed through the others as well. After grasping the basics, he dug into the guild system. It turned out that once players entered the game, there was no going back to the real world. They were thrown into the edge of a chaotic realm, dangerous, barren, and bleak. The only way to store resources, move toward the world center, and survive was to join a guild and act as a team. Reading further, Zhao Yi studied the world map of established guild territories. Most areas were run by worthless guilds, but one spot caught his eye: the region closest to Gushuan Town. The very town mentioned in the giant elephant hospital director's letter. His eyes lit up with sudden interest. He sent an application, and before long, a reply came: "We're just a trash guild. No resources here." Zhao Yi smirked at the message, clearly unfazed. He wasn't after resources. He just wanted to explore Gushuan Town. Meanwhile, in a rundown apartment at the edge of the world map, a seductive woman stared at the glowing message in front of her. How amusing. The rookie ranked number 1 this year actually insists on joining our guild. As her words faded, a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe stepped forward, murmuring, "Blessings of the Celestial Lord." Didn't this guy get invited by any of the top guilds? Or maybe this year's rookies are just too pathetic, not enough to stir the interest of those old monsters. He shook his head with disdain. The woman twirled her hair lazily and replied, "A rookie who managed to score S+ in a hell difficulty dungeon like Giant Elephant Hospital. What do you think?" The Taoist's eyes flickered with surprise. "Then why would he choose our guild?" The woman went on, sharing Zhao Yi's words. "He said he's interested in Gushuan Town. Uncle Quan, what's your take?" The man called Uncle Quan closed the book in his hands. "Gushuan Town, if I remember right, it ties into our world quest." He scolded them harshly. "You lot waste your time fighting and killing, never touching world quests. No wonder the guild's still a mess after all this time. Newcomers are running away in droves." The woman let out a soft laugh. "Isn't that your influence? When the upper beam's crooked, the lower beams go ask you. Don't dump the blame on us." Uncle Quan looked embarrassed, waving it off. "Let him in. It's rare to have a newcomer actually want to join us. And remember, don't bully him." The woman licked her lips, eyes gleaming. Of course. When the system notification appeared, the outside world erupted. No one could understand Zhao Yi's choice. He had a winning hand, but threw it all away. Of all places, he chose this trash guild. What a waste. Some of the top guild leaders had praised him, yet he went and did this. Meanwhile, in the ruins of a fallen city, inside a luxurious skyscraper, Yang Tao was reviewing Zhao Yi's file, frowning. Joining a guild full of deadbeats, this rookie really is something else. As he pondered, a woman in business attire knocked and entered. "Vice President, someone dug up Zhao Yi's original world records. They've been uploaded to Eternal Night Camp. Here's the raw file." Yang Tao skimmed the document quickly, then asked in confusion, was he well known in his field? She nodded. Yes, he treated nearly 1,000 patients with severe mental disorders, every one of them fully cured, with no side effects. She paused, lowering her voice. But the strange part is, every single patient forgot the treatment. All memories tied to it mysteriously vanished. In the industry, no one dared call him by his real name. Instead, they gave him a chilling nickname, the Angel of Oblivion. Meanwhile, in the Blowing Horn Alliance Guild, Yang Tao stared at Zhao Yi's file in silence for a long time. At last, he ordered the woman beside him to summon the demon Ball. She hesitated. Vice President Ball slaughtered every other player in the last dungeon. His kill value's too high. He's locked in the slaughter arena, 3 days before he's out. Yang Tao glanced at the calendar. Plenty of time. I can wait. As for the Slacker Guild, it was tucked into the far corner of the world map. A desolate, dangerous place. Zhao, he had barely arrived when he spotted a stunning woman standing at the door. So this is the Slacker Guild's turf? He asked curiously. The woman slipped off her sunglasses with a smile. What? Don't we look like slackers to you? Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Lu Ruoqing, the guild's reviewer. You can call me Sister Lu. She turned and walked inside. Come on, I'll take you to meet the other slackers. Zhao Yi nodded and followed her in. When Lu Ruoqing pushed open the shabby door, every eye in the hall turned toward them, many wearing strange smiles. She paused, then began the introductions. The guy with the black-rimmed glasses is our guild leader. You can call him Uncle Quan. That ice-cold beauty is Meng Jiao, the vice president. Best not to chat with her. She won't bother responding. And that damn con artist Taoist is Jiang Xiao. Scams and tricks are his specialty. Be careful. Jiang Zhao's face darkened, and he quickly protested. Lu Ruoqing, I read the stars and earth, predict fortunes, cast hexagrams, and I've never overcharged a cent. How does that make me a con artist? He squeezed up beside Zhao Yi, grinning. I already set up your room. We usually stay on the 7th floor. Newbies get the 1st through 3rd. Your room is 404, personally arranged by me. Lucky number, right? Zhao Yi quickly bowed his thanks. Jiang Xiao chuckled. Don't mention it. You're family now. A rookie who clawed his way to rank 1 among millions? We've got high hopes for you. Lu Ruoqing shook her head. Stop messing with him. I'll take him to his dorm. With that, she started up the stairs. Soon, they reached room 404. Lu Ruoqing had Zhao Yi stand at the door. A beam of blue light shot out from the peephole. Ding. Soul information collected. The door creaked open, revealing a spotless, tidy room. It had a private bath and hot water around the clock, but food and drinking water had to be scavenged from an abandoned train station 2 kilometers away. Lu Ruoqing's eyes gleamed as she added, that place requires level 3 at minimum. You're not there yet, but I can supply you for now. Zhao Yi quickly nodded. Thank you. She waved him off with a smile. No need. Then, turning to leave, she added, come to the lounge tomorrow night. I'll walk you and the other newcomers through the basics of this hell game. Oh right. She suddenly remembered something. Don't explore outside the apartment. It's not safe yet. With that, she swayed her hips and walked off. Zhao Yi spent the night resting in the guild. By the next morning, all the newcomers were gathered in the main hall. Zhao Yi showed up too, still in his bathrobe. Uncle Quan scanned the room before speaking. Since everyone's here, I'll keep it short. I'm the guild leader of the Slacker Guild. You can call me Uncle Quan. The world we're in now is a lawless place called the Chaos Realm. It's extremely dangerous. The only safe zone is this guild building. So don't wander off. As players in this hell game, you have 2 types of missions, dungeon quests and world quests. Dungeon quests must be cleared once a month, twice at most. Keep in mind, you'll often be matched with other players in the same dungeon. Killing and looting happens all the time. So, don't trust anyone too easily. Also, when you enter a dungeon, Eternal Night Camp will automatically open your live stream. The better you perform, the more viewers and fans you'll attract. At the end of the stream, popularity and gifts will be converted into points. It's not much, but enough to get you noticed by big guilds. Makes switching sides later easier. The rookies glanced at each other, confused. He even encouraged job hopping. Clearly, he didn't care if newcomers stayed or not. Uncle Quan paused, then added, as for world quests, those are even simpler. Your system shows them. If you're interested, do them. If not, or if you're scared, skip them. The guild won't force you. Any questions? The moment he finished, countless hands shot up as the rookies scrambled to ask. Uncle Quan looked a little exasperated. He adjusted his glasses, then stood up and left. Since no one has any questions, This meeting's over. The few still raising their hands froze on the spot. Damn, are the guild veterans really this irresponsible? Feels like we've boarded a pirate ship. Someone muttered. Another replied, Hey, you applied to the slacker guild yourself. Don't blame anyone else. I only joined because I saw a rank 1 sign up here. Zhao, he sat alone on the sofa, thinking, in truth, everything about the game could be checked through the system. Whether they explained it or not made little difference. What left him speechless was how lazy these guild members were. They didn't even bother to put on an act. The world quest hadn't been touched at all. 2 years since the guild was founded, and they were still stuck on the beginner quest. But maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. This way, he could experience the story from the very start and uncover what really happened in Gushuan Town. With that thought, Zhao Yi opened the world quest. The first one that appeared was the guidance quest. Objective: collect food and water at the train station. Recommended level: 1, 3. Reward: 2 free points. Description: you suddenly awaken to find yourself trapped in the terrifying land of eternal night. Your goal is to escape this place. But before that, you must first find a way to survive. A map was attached at the bottom of the quest. Zhao Yi glanced at it and saw the abandoned train station was only 2 kilometers away. The distance wasn't far, but 80% of the station was shrouded in shadow. That meant most of the area wasn't tied to the quest, and the danger level could easily exceed what was meant for level 1 to 3 players. That meant it was too early to venture out. The guild's warehouse still had plenty of food anyway. The most urgent task now was to quickly raise his level and gather points to exchange for useful items in the shop. With that in mind, he tapped the dungeon matchmaking option on his system panel. Being match found. Dungeon: haunted school horror players. Zhao Yi, Yang Lin, Zhen Tao Lu Bai. Main quest: survive 7 days at Shirshan High School. Side quest: break the school's curse. Main reward: 75 EXP. Side reward: substitute doll. Difficulty: hell. Intro: you've successfully enrolled in the city's top school, Shirshan High. But after some time, you begin to realize something about this place isn't right. A flash of white light filled his vision. Inside a classroom at Shirshan High, a girl slowly opened her eyes. The moment she entered the dungeon, her livestream shot past 1,000 viewers. She's gorgeous. No wonder her popularity's through the roof. She's only been through 4 dungeons, but I've watched her grow. She's my goddess now. Yeah, at first she was just a spoiled rich girl of vase. Now she actually thinks things through. Big improvement. Yang Lin opened her system interface, and her face went pale. Hell, a difficulty. How could she be this unlucky? This was only her 4th dungeon, and she'd already hit hell. The last one was just normal difficulty and nearly broke her. How was she supposed to survive this? Her headache worsened as she checked her stats. She had 25 life points total, but after dying 3 times, she'd lost 15. Only 10 remained. One more death would drop her to 5, and the next dungeon would become unbearable. If her life points ever hit 0 inside a dungeon, she'd die for real. The thought made her shiver. Wait, there are teammates. She shot to her feet. Scanning the classroom, she searched for anyone who might be strong. But disappointment hit fast. 3 names floated overhead, and all 3 were lower level than her. She slumped back in her chair, despair flooding her. Great, they're total newbies, fresh off the boat. Completely useless. Are we doomed to die here? Especially that Zhao Yi guy, who is still glancing around like a tourist. Forget it. I'll have to rely on myself, she muttered. It was lunch break. 10 minutes until the next class. She decided to use the time to gather the team and share information. Yang Lin called the 3 of them out to the playground. As the highest level, she naturally took command. Listen up. We're facing an unprecedented level of danger. For the next 7 days, we'll only survive if we stick together and cooperate. She looked at them one by one. So, any thoughts on this dungeon? Jin Tao and Lu Bai exchanged a helpless glance and shook their heads. We just started the game. We've got nothing, completely blind. Zhao Yi, however, stayed quiet. As he scanned the nearby classrooms, he noticed something strange. The rooms weren't full. Each had about 46 seats, yet never more than 23 students. An odd phenomenon indeed. But what did it mean? Seeing Zhao Yi's wary look, Yang Linlin turned to him. Well, do you have any thoughts? Zhao Yi, that name sounds familiar, Zheng Tao muttered under his breath. Then he suddenly snapped his head up, as if struck by a thought. Wait, you're that guy. The one who cleared Hell Difficulty Giant Elephant Hospital with an S+ score, the rookie rank number 1. The other two froze on the spot. Rookie rank number 1? Holy crap. That's a monster out of millions, straight-up boss material. All three of them stared at Zhao Yi, eyes burning with excitement. Zhao Yi only asked calmly, "Do you remember your seats?" Yang Linlin immediately blurted, "I remember." Why? To her, he was the only lifeline. Zhao Yi didn't answer. Instead, he turned his gaze toward the classroom. Nothing. Class is about to start. Let's head back. If nothing goes wrong, quite a few people in this room will die today. Oh, and make sure you sit in your own seat. Don't switch. Ever. The three of them shivered, chills crawling up their spines. Noticing Zheng Tao's pale face, Yang Linlin quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Zheng Tao stammered, "I think I forgot my seat." "Brother Zhao, is that really important?" Zhao, he turned to him. "I can't say for sure if the other seats are dangerous. But the spawn point, our own seats, are definitely safe for now. If you can't recall, think back to something you noticed nearby as a reference." Meanwhile, Zhao Yi's stream exploded with new viewers. Of course, rookie number 1, sharp as ever. Another Hell Difficulty? Talk about cursed luck. Too bad, without the rookie recommendation boost, his popularity tanked. Give me a break. What rookie starts with that kind of heat? Even 300 viewers is a lot. This time there's no system nerfing the ghosts. His little tricks won't save him. Can't wait to watch him die. The school bell rang, sharp and sudden. "Let's go." They rushed back into the classroom. "Stand up," a male student barked. Everyone shot to their feet in unison, waiting for the teacher's arrival. Zhao, he swept his gaze across the room, and crimson data flashed in his pupils. Every single student was a ghost. The only exceptions were his teammates. Fortunately, the data showed that all these entities were neutral units, meaning they wouldn't attack without reason. Moments later, the classroom door creaked open. A woman in business attire stepped inside. "Today, we'll be having a math exam." The moment her words fell, every ghost in the room trembled with fear. Ding! Entity, female teacher. Trigger-based neutral. Remains neutral until a hidden condition is met. Once triggered, her power skyrockets. After slaying the target, she resets. Zhao Yi frowned. Trigger-based neutral? Could the condition be tied to the exam papers in her hands? Or perhaps the seating arrangements? Or maybe both? With her arrival, the classroom air grew suffocating. Exams begin now. Papers will be handed out. Her cold gaze swept across the room. "You have 50 minutes. No moving. No noise." As soon as she finished, Zhao, he noticed the chubby ghost in front of him shaking violently. But trembling at what? The teacher began distributing papers row by row. Even empty seats received one. Zhao, he glanced at a nearby desk. The paper there was completely blank. But on occupied seats, simple test questions appeared. Zhao, he stared at his sheet, already getting a headache. He didn't know a single answer. Fine, then there was only one option. He quickly scribbled down his name and student ID and left the rest to the toss of an eraser. The exam hall instantly fell into chaos. Ghosts craned their necks everywhere. Some even whispered to their desk mates, "What's your answer for number 3? Are our tests the same?" Yet the teacher didn't react. She simply stood at the podium, coldly scanning the students one by one. Zhao Yi's frown deepened. The test was a mess, but she didn't care at all. So the trigger condition wasn't tied to discipline? Meanwhile, the trembling ghost in the front row looked worse by the second. Yang Linlin turned her eyes to Zhao Yi. Ever since learning he was rookie rank number 1, she had pinned all her survival hopes on him. After all, no one climbs to the top out of sheer luck. He had to possess extraordinary skills. But when she saw him relying on an eraser to pick answers, her confidence wavered. Seriously? He can't even solve these simple questions. and has to gamble on them? Suddenly, the teacher's cold voice cut through the room. No wandering eyes. At once, a bone-chilling cold swept across the classroom, freezing every corner. None of the students dared to move a muscle. Zhao Yi bent down, counting on his fingers as he scribbled. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 7 is 21. 4 times 6 is 24. In no time, he had filled his entire paper. Meanwhile, the teacher began her patrol. A blood-stained axe slid into her hand, and her face twisted, tearing open into something grotesque and monstrous. Now let's see which students deserve punishment. She dragged the axe as she prowled between the desks. When she stopped beside Jintao, his hair stood on end. His body shook uncontrollably, and he didn't even dare to breathe. His mind roared like a stampede. The axe's shadow fell across his paper. Clutching his pen with all his strength, he sat frozen, heart pounding in his throat, unable to turn or make a sound. Did I sit in the wrong seat? No, impossible. I remember the stationery here perfectly. Please, please don't kill me. His spirit collapsed, terror ripping him apart. His mental energy plummeted at a rate of 3 points per second. The livestream audience knew instantly he was done for. At this pace, he wouldn't survive the first day. Young Lin's own fear gnawed at her, dragging her mental energy down as well. Her fans watching the stream grew equally anxious. Zhao Yi, however, was completely unaffected. Viewers gawked. Holy crap, is he even human? His mental energy is steady at 101, solid as a rock. That mental fortitude I respect. But I peeked at his paper, not a single answer right. Jintao's mental energy crashed below 50, leaving him half unconscious. Just then, the teacher stepped away from his desk. He exhaled in relief, collapsing onto the table. But the reprieve was short-lived. The teacher moved behind Zhao Yi, and an overwhelming pressure crushed down. He could feel it clearly, a murderous intent aimed straight at him. He lifted his head, flashing an innocent smile at the teacher. Ding! Exclusive system prompt. Teacher, trigger-based neutrality. Even after all this, she was still neutral. So disrupting the exam really didn't trigger her killing condition, which meant no matter how badly she wanted to kill, as long as the condition wasn't met, she couldn't make a move. Zhao Yi realized with a start. Ironically, this teacher might be the safest ghost in the entire classroom. But safe for now didn't mean safe forever. He hesitated, slipping a hand toward the scalpel in his pocket. There was no certainty yet that he could actually kill her. What are you staring at? It's an exam. Get back to your paper. The ghost teacher gripped her axe and glared at him. Zhao Yi thought for a moment, then chose to hold back. Why are you looking at me? Is there something on my face? She sneered, leaning in closer. Her mouth tore wide open to her ears, and her foul tongue lashed out several inches. Zhao Yi frowned but quickly smoothed it over, replying calmly, No, I just think you look beautiful, teacher. Earlier, I ran into a ghost who fell to her death. Her face was mangled. Honestly, it traumatized my fragile heart. Flattered, the teacher's face instantly shifted back to its peak beauty, her expression turning shy and delighted. Really? You think I'm beautiful? No, this is exam time. Stop trying to flatter me. Do your work, she barked, pressing a cold, pale hand onto his head. Meanwhile, the chubby ghost in front was shaking like a leaf, muttering, Don't kill me, over and over, barely holding his fear in check. The teacher's eyes snapped toward him. Her neck stretched unnaturally long as she leaned close, glaring icily. For the first time, her axe rose high. Terrified, the fat ghost collapsed to his knees, clutching her leg and bawling. Teacher, please. Just one more chance. I beg you. I promise. I swear I won't mess up again. Before he could finish, the axe came down. Slash. Blood sprayed everywhere. A round head rolled across the floor, stopping right at Zhao Yi's feet. He stared at it for a few seconds. Then, slowly raising his foot, he kicked it away with a loud bang. The head flew across the room and landed squarely on Jintao's desk. Their eyes met, and Jintao nearly pissed himself on the spot. The fat kid never recovered from the shock. His eyes rolled back, foam bubbled at his mouth, and he collapsed onto his desk. Viewers in the stream went hysterical. Is this something a normal person can pull off? Both ghosts and people were performing. Only Jintao was getting hammered. Luckily, he fainted. Otherwise, with his mental energy dropping, he'd have no chance. He'd turn into a dungeon monster outright. After dealing with the fat student, the teacher turned back, fixing a cold stare on Zhao Yi. Without hesitation, Zhao Yi stood and handed his paper forward. The teacher took it. She flicked her hand and said out, "Disturb the exam again and your exam privileges are revoked." Zhao Yi let out a soft chuckle and answered, "Got it." Yang Linlin watched him go, astonished. He's really leaving just like that? Once outside, Zhao Yi's smile vanished. He murmured, "I think I've got a clue." 40 minutes later, the exam ended. The group gathered. Yang Linlin sighed. "This is hell difficulty. Can we at least play it safe?" Lu Bai chimed in, "Yeah, boss, what you did was reckless. You nearly scared Jintao to death." Zhao Yi laughed it off. "I was just testing the teacher. Turns out, as long as we don't hit the death trigger, that ghost tolerance for us is pretty broad." Death trigger. The phrase grabbed their full attention. "Come on, explain it properly, bro." Zhao Yi scanned the area, made sure nobody overheard, and leaned in to whisper his theory. "Didn't you notice? The teacher kills according to a rule. The others blinked. A rule? You mean it's just random? Pick a kid and chop their head off?" someone asked. Seeing their confusion, Zhao Yi waved them over. "Let's go to the playground. Better view." During lunch, I watched 8 classrooms. Take a closer look. In every room, less than half the seats are occupied. And the closer the class is to the front, the fewer students sit there. After I handed in my paper, I checked the second floor. Same situation as the first. Our class is on the edge of the 3rd floor, so a lot of seats are empty, yet other 3rd floor rooms are fuller. Yang Linlin grew even more puzzled. "What does that mean?" Zhao Yi frowned. "Hypothetically, just hypothetically, if the deaths are caused by a curse, that curse could be spreading from the 1st floor upward like a virus, infecting one class after another until it reaches ours. Such a curse would impose a set of rules. Anyone who violates them gets executed. So, the rule might be linked to exam conduct." Jintao and Lu Bai clutched each other in panic. Zhao Yi paused, then said, "Think about it." I shouted out loud, even kicked the head across the room. Total chaos in the exam hall. But the invigilator didn't lay a finger on me. Instead, the chubby guy in front of me had his head chopped off for no reason. That means he must have triggered the death condition. Same goes for the others who died. If you look closely, the empty desks had blank test papers and scrap sheets. A handful of students had blank papers too. Yang Linlin's eyes lit up. I noticed that as well. When I stayed in the classroom, I saw some students holding blank exams. And in the end, every one of those blank paper students was executed by the teacher, 7 in total. Lu Bai muttered, "So, the blank exam is the death trigger?" Zhao, he shook his head. "Not that simple. The paper itself isn't the trigger. For my last dungeon, even hell difficulty doesn't make the main objective impossible. The real challenge comes from side quests, hidden quests, and the world building. So the main task here won't be pure bad luck. If a blank exam alone decided death, players will be left to fate." Jintao's lips turned pale as he whined. "Then just tell us what the death trigger is. I don't want to die. I just want out of this place." Zhao, he scratched his nose, looking awkward. "I don't know yet. It's not the paper, but it's definitely related to it. But there's one thing I need to tell you." His eyes suddenly gleamed with excitement. "No joke. The only living people in this school are us 4. Everyone else, they're ghosts." Jintao's legs gave out, and he nearly fainted again. The rest could only stare speechlessly. Yang Linlin sighed. "So what now? This dungeon feels so loose. I don't even know where to start." Zhao, he glanced toward the classrooms and replied, "We wait until night." Lu Bai frowned. "Why night?" Zhao, he turned to him. "Think about it. As students, how much freedom do we really have in the daytime to dig for answers?" Yang Linlin nodded slowly. "Makes sense. No wonder you're ranked number 1. Then tonight, Let's pick a time and place. They settled on meeting at the back garden pavilion at midnight. Trembling, Zhun Tao slowly raised his hand. Can I skip this? I'm scared of running into ghosts. Zhao, he nodded calmly. Of course you can. But he added, just remember, if you're alone at night and hear or see something, don't scream. Nobody will come for you, because we won't be there. Zhun Tao shuddered violently and blurted, Bro, I'll go. I'll go, all right. Soon after evening's self-study ended, the students filed back to their dorms. Zhao, he returned to his room as well. Pushing the door open, he was surprised. The dorm was cramped but surprisingly clean and tidy. The moment he sat on his bed, a system prompt echoed. After a day of tension, you finally relax as you return to your dorm. With that, drowsiness washed over him, and he quickly slipped into a dreamless slumber. As the voice faded, it felt like some mysterious force lulled him into sleep. He didn't know how much time had passed before his eyes suddenly snapped open. The dorm was empty, eerily quiet. It felt like he was the only one left in the entire building. A chill of dread spread through him. Something was clearly wrong. He checked the time on his phone. Only 3 minutes remained until the agreed meeting. Zhao Yi hurried toward the rendezvous. The surroundings had changed drastically. Peeling walls, moldy stains, everything rotting and desolate, the air thick with decay. At the pavilion, Yang Linlin paced back and forth in nervous agitation. When she saw Zhao Yi, she let out a sigh of relief. It's just you? Where are the others? Zhao Yi shook his head. Didn't see them. Everyone's gone. For a moment, I thought you were gone too. Yang Linlin frowned. Could they already be dead? Zhao Yi reassured her, no, don't overthink. As long as no one triggered the death point, they should still be alive. He scanned the area before speaking again. Judging from the scene, we've probably entered some kind of mirror world. But that's actually good. It makes exploring the school easier. Come on, let's see what the classrooms look like now. Zhao Yi strode forward, and Yang Linlin quickly followed, staying close by his side for a sense of safety. As they reached the edge of the school building, a shadowy figure suddenly emerged ahead. Within that darkness, a pair of blood-red eyes stared straight at them. Yang Linlin asked in horror, "What is that?" Zhao Yi replied, "I don't know, but it's definitely not human." With that, he strode straight toward the shadow. Yang Linlin quickly grabbed his arm. "You know it's not human, and you're still going? Do you have a death wish?" Zhao Yi explained, "If it's a neutral entity, it might help us gather information." Yang Linlin shot back, "And if it's not?" He gave a sly smile and pulled out his scalpel. "Then I'll turn it into a neutral entity." Linlin was speechless. For a moment, she felt he was scarier than the ghost itself. The live stream chat exploded. "Holy shit, this guy's insane." Zhao Yi marched toward the shadow with his scalpel. The drifting shadow froze for a few seconds when it saw him coming. Then, in a flash, it darted into the school building. Zhao Yi frowned. The distance was too far. He hadn't triggered his skill in time to read the prompt. "Don't run. Let's talk," he shouted, sprinting after it. He charged up the pitch-black staircase. Linlin snapped out of it and rushed after him. "Are you always this reckless?" she muttered. Zhao Yi replied without looking back. "No, I'm usually cautious." "Cautious? You literally disrupted the exam in front of the ghost teacher today." Hearing her complaint, Zhao Yi replied without even turning his head. He was 100% sure the ghost teacher wouldn't touch him. "Didn't you watch carefully during this afternoon's test? Several students openly cheated right under the invigilator's nose, and she only gave them a warning. That proved breaking exam discipline wouldn't trigger the death curse." Yang Linlin thought for a moment. She really hadn't noticed this detail. Just then, Zhao Yi's footsteps suddenly halted. Before she realized what was happening, she bumped straight into him. "Why'd you stop without saying anything?" Before she could finish, Zhao Yi pressed a finger to his lips. Realizing something was wrong, she instantly covered her mouth. In the darkness they could barely see. The two crept to a classroom door and peeked inside through the glass. An empty classroom suddenly filled with swarming shadows. Terrified, Yang Linlin trembled and whispered, "What were those shadows?" Zhao Yi shook his head. "I can't be sure. Let's check our own class." Without another word, The two headed straight for Class 8 of Grade 2. Peering through the glass, they saw shadows there as well. The difference was there weren't as many, and one even stood at the podium. What was stranger, their positions matched exactly with the students who had died earlier in the day. Zhao Yi frowned deeply at the thought. Just then, Yang Linlin trembled and pointed ahead, signaling him to look. What is it? Zhao Yi raised his head in confusion. A single blood red, I was glaring at them. It belonged to the shadow on the podium. In an instant, both felt like they had fallen into an ice pit, every hair standing on end. Zhao Yi realized the danger immediately, grabbed the girl beside him, and shouted, "Run!" before bolting away. Just as they dashed downstairs, a chilling laugh echoed. A grotesque ghost blocked their path. This is too much. How do we get past it? Yang Linlin's heart pounded wildly, her mental strength dropping fast. Zhao Yi, however, didn't flinch. He strode straight toward it. Confused, Yang Linlin had no time to react before Zhao Yi seized her arm and dragged her forward. The shadowy wraith shifted its body, ready to greet its prey. In that instant, Zhao Yi hurled his scalpel. A flash of cold steel cut the dark. In the blink of an eye, the blade struck the wraith's head. The eerie laughter stopped abruptly as the weapon sank in. Watching the creature collapse, Zhao Yi's lips curved into a faint smile. The system prompt revealed it was only a low-level ghost mist. Killing it had released a wandering spirit, and his soul weapon gained a slight boost. There was no time to linger. Zhao Yi yanked the scalpel free. Then he grabbed Yang Linlin again and sprinted for the exit. The front doors were just ahead. Hurry! It can't leave the school building. Zhao Yi shouted. Hearing this, Yang Linlin's eyes lit up, and she pushed herself to run faster. We're almost out, she thought, thrilled, unaware a pair of massive hands was reaching from behind. The next second, something clamped cold fingers around her neck, freezing her whole body. Before she could resist, she was dragged back inside. Zhao Yi, already at the doorway, heard her desperate cry. He spun around and hurled his scalpel without hesitation. With a sharp slash, the blade sliced off half of Yang Linlin's ear. The weapon didn't stop, driving straight into the shadow's body. A shrill scream rang out as its grip loosened. Adrenaline surging, Yang Linlin crawled and stumbled toward the exit. Seconds later, she collapsed beside Zhao Yi, gasping in relief. Her body gave out, and warm liquid trickled down her legs onto the floor. It's over. It's gone. Zhao Yi reassured her. Slowly regaining her senses, Yang Linlin felt the sharp sting in her left ear grow unbearable. Touching it, she realized part of her ear was missing. With tears brimming, she looked pitiful. Zhao Yi sighed helplessly. Don't worry. When the dungeon ends, it'll grow back. Outside the live stream, viewers went wild. Damn, my goddess almost died. As expected of the #1 rookie. If it were me, I'd have bolted without looking back. But he actually risked his life to save her. That throw was insane. 1 inch off and the blade would have nailed Yang Linlin right between the eyes. After bandaging her ear, Zhao Yi made a jaw-dropping decision. He turned to Yang Linlin and said, Wait here. I'm going back in. Yang Linlin panicked. Are you crazy? Going back in? If it's lying in ambush, you'll be walking right into its trap. Zhao Yi replied calmly, No, I won't. The ghosts in this school don't roam freely. They all follow certain rules. Take the proctor from earlier. It would never chase us outside the building. Otherwise, it would break its own rule and face consequences we can't even imagine. Hearing this, Yang Linlin lowered her head. Only then did she notice the cold wetness beneath her. Damn it, she'd peed herself again. Mortified, she quickly changed the subject. So, you're going back in because there's something important inside? Zhao Yi thought for a moment before answering. I need a class roster. The one in the proctor's hands is too risky. There should be a backup in the office. With that, he moved toward the entrance. Yang Linlin suddenly spoke up. Can you take me with you? Zhao Yi raised an eyebrow, intrigued. You sure? She took a deep breath. I'm sure. You know, if I do nothing, Even if I survive, my score and points will be terrible. Don't worry, I won't drag you down. If things get bad, just run and leave me. Afraid he'd refuse, she quickly added, if I follow you, maybe, just maybe, I can help when it counts. Zhao, he hesitated, then finally nodded in agreement. Together, they stepped back into the school. The wraiths in the hall twitched restlessly, but for some reason didn't attack. Yang Linlin asked curiously, why did you insist on checking our classroom on the 3rd floor earlier? Zhao Yi answered, to confirm my suspicion. The shadows in our class, they're the ones who died during the day. Soon, they reached the office on the 4th floor. After making sure it was quiet inside, Zhao Yi carefully pushed open the door. The room was a mess, papers and belongings scattered everywhere. He locked the door behind them. Then the two began searching for the roster. As Zhao Yi rummaged around, he spoke calmly. During the day, the 1st floor had 8 classes, 472 seats in total. Only 121 students sat randomly. I memorized all of their positions. The shadows we just saw on the 1st floor, they were sitting exactly where the empty seats had been during the day. If it happened in only one classroom, maybe it was coincidence. But across all 8 classes, that's enough to prove it's a rule. To be thorough, I even checked the 3rd floor. There I saw the fat kid who'd been executed by the proctor earlier. Sure enough, a shadow appeared right in his spot. So now we can draw the most basic conclusion. Those shadows are the students who died during the day. Yang Linlin almost lost it. Wait, are you telling me you memorized all 8 classrooms for 172 seats and the positions of 121 students? But you only looked once. Zhao Yi lifted his head and asked, puzzled, what, that's not enough? Yang Linlin was left speechless. She couldn't understand how 2 people could be so different. But even if we know this, what good does it do us? Zhao Yi explained, it's actually very useful. Based on this, we can infer another rule. During the day they're alive, at night they're dead. The living and the dead cannot sit in the same seat. If they do, it counts as breaking the rule, and they'll be executed. Yang Linlin still didn't get it. But those shadows already died once, didn't they? How can they die again? Zhao Yi didn't answer, because he had just found a class roster and a sealed letter inside the cabinet. Setting the letter aside, he flipped open the roster. It listed not only class names and dates, but also the exact seating arrangements for each student. He recalled the chalkboard earlier. It showed today's date, September 14th. Right in front of his own name was a blank seat, no student assigned there. That meant during today's exam, that seat should have been empty. But the fat kid sat there. He must have realized he was in the wrong seat, but had no clue where the right one was. The fear itself drove him over the edge and triggered the rule. Yang Linlin's eyes lit up. Then we just carry this roster with us. For the next few days, we'll always know where to sit. That way, we could survive the 7 days. Zhao, he immediately shook his head, dousing her excitement. It's not that easy. We entered this dungeon on the 14th. We have to survive here for 7 days. So if daytime is continuous, this scenario should end on the 20th. But according to this roster, on the 20th, every single seat is marked blank. Yang Linlin gasped and asked why. A knowing smile creased Zhao Yi's lips. Because on that day, all of us will die. At those words, Linlin's hair rose on end. Her mental strength plunged. Don't scare me. I'm easily frightened. Zhao, he then picked up the nearby envelope. Inside he found, besides a thick stack of spirit money, a short letter. The letter read, Principal, I'm sorry for the trouble I caused. I'll be more careful in future. I heard his mother is his only relative. Now that things turn out like this, he won't let it go. Please discuss this with the mayor. This money is little, just a token of respect. Much of the letter had been edited and crossed out. Key details remained redacted. Obviously, it hadn't been mailed in time. Zhao Yi frowned and pondered. At that moment, a ding sounded, and the outline of his scalpel materialized in midair. He grabbed the scalpel and looked at Yang Linlin. Perfect, the weapon's back. Come on, let's go to the principal's office. Before leaving, they quickly tidied up, and Zhao Yi pulled a few spirit bills from the envelope. Linlin asked curiously. What are you taking the money for? Zhao Yi replied with a cryptic smile. Just in case. Linlin grew more puzzled. Explain, why do you need that money? Zhao Yi answered, whether people or ghosts, everything in this school acts according to its own rules. For example, the proctor can't leave the classroom for long unless something unusual happens. But the principal is different. The principal spends far more time in the school and isn't as busy as the teachers. So if he's in the office, we need a way to lure him out. Lin's eyes brightened. I get it, but how does baiting him out relate to the money? Before she could finish, Zhao Yi made a silencing gesture. They'd already slipped down the corridor to the principal's office on the top floor. The two peered cautiously through the glass. Unstable data floated into view. Principal, high danger. This was clearly not something rookies should confront head-on, but its mobility was severely limited. It moved in a stiff, synchronized manner. The principal was bent over, counting spirit money in his hands. Lin's face lit up. Oh, he's clearly a money-obsessed one. You want to lure him out with money. Zhao Yi nodded. Exactly. Stay here and watch him. I'll go lay out the money. With that whispered instruction, Zhao Yi set his plan in motion. He intended to use the spirit bills to draw the principal out of the office. About 10 minutes later, he had spread every last bill of spirit money across the floor. When he was done, he dusted off his hands. Back at the office door, he whispered, It's ready. Once I knock, follow me to the stairway that leads to the rooftop. Then find a spot to hide. Young Linlin nodded, finally understanding his plan. Zhao Yi rapped on the office door. As the principal turned his head in puzzlement, the two had already slipped away. Moments later, the door creaked open. The bloated, obese principal squeezed out, its head cracking as it twisted a full 360 degrees. Yet it saw no one. Only the faint stench of urine lingered in the air. Confused, it began sniffing around, following the smell. After just 2 steps, the spirit money scattered on the floor caught its eye. Money, so much money. A sinister grin tugged at the principal's lips. It hunched down to scoop up the bills. Only when it had moved farther away did Zhao Yi reappear. Come on, we need to find a file in the office. Linlin frowned. A file? What file? Zhao Yi explained. That letter hinted a student's mother clashed with the school, and the school inflicted severe harm, maybe even killed her. As he spoke, the money-obsessed specter wandered farther off. Zhao Yi motioned quickly for Linlin to follow. That's why we have to find the student's file, to see what really happened. Linlin scanned the surroundings nervously as she asked, but if it's really that bad, would the school leave such a stain on record? Zhao Yi yanked open a cabinet and reasoned. Expulsions are always recorded. There aren't many reasons for clashes with parents, either safety and health or academics. Shishan High is a closed-off, military-style school. Rules are strict, fights are forbidden, and management is tight. Safety issues rarely occur. So if things escalated enough for parents and the school to tear each other apart, it likely involved expulsion. Lin's eyes lit up. Right, I should have thought of that. Zhao Yi kept flipping until he found something intriguing. A student named Chun Xiong. Top of the entire grade, yet expelled in September. The reason? Romance. For a star student to be expelled over puppy love, that was far too suspicious. Linlin leaned in, frowning. Does the school even have a rule to expel students just for dating? Zhao Yi shook his head. I skimmed the other cases. For dating, the punishment was always suspension and a call to the parents. Chun Xiong was the only one expelled outright. For a student that outstanding, the punishment should have been lighter than others, unless he crossed someone far too powerful to offend. Linlin speculated nervously. Either the girl he liked had connections, or his rival did. Zhao Yi leaned toward the latter. A student that brilliant would have too much pride for the first scenario. If he chased a girl, got rejected, then pestered her until she used her background to push him out, that's unlikely. Much more likely, Chun Xiong pursued a girl her suitor, grew jealous the rival, used his influence to expel Chun Xiong while keeping the girl. That fits far better. We need to dig into Chun Xiong's story. That could be clues. Linlin shook her head. How? Our phones are school-issued. No internet, just alarms. The computer lab. It's online. Zhao Yi shut the cabinet as he spoke. But Linlin froze, trembling. She shakily pointed toward the door. A murderous aura filled the air. Zhao Yi whipped around. An obese, grotesque specter glared straight at him. Damn it, the principal came back early? His stomach sank. But in the blink of an eye, the bloated shadow shrank into a boy's frame. As he stepped forward, the very walls peeled away, oozing blood-red fluid. You all deserve to die. Every one of you. At that venomous roar, Zhao Yi shoved Linlin behind him. He yanked out old Lu's property deed from his storage. Are you Qin Xiong? We came to uncover the truth. What happened to you and your mother? At the word truth, the shadow froze. Then it clutched its head and let out an ear-splitting shriek. The sound rattled their skulls. Lin's HP plummeted. Screw it. Desperate. She pulled a shotgun from storage. I'm Qin Xiong. Mother. Zhangya. Pang Xiao. The shadow howled at the ceiling, then clutched his head, muttering broken words. His head swelled grotesquely. In seconds, dozens of thorned tentacles burst forth. Both of them went numb with dread. What the hell is this thing? Lin's legs shook so badly, she nearly dropped her gun. The shadow crept closer. Soon they were forced into a dead corner, nowhere to run. Linlin forced herself to stay steady, raising her gun. Zhao Yi, run. I'll hold it off. But the thorn tendrils lunged before she could fire. Move. Zhao Yi shoved her away with a kick as he retreated. A split second later, the spikes slammed down, shattering the ground like tofu. Linlin slammed into a wall with a sickening thud, and Zhao Yi, caught closer to the monster, was left in deadly peril once again. As Zhao Yi hit the ground, more spikes whipped toward him, so fast they cracked the air with sonic booms. His gut tightened. At his current speed, there was no way he could dodge. One hit, and he'd be done for. Just as death loomed, a gunshot split the air. The shadow wailed in agony. Its strike halted. Go, Zhao Yi. I'll cover you. Linlin gripped her shotgun, eyes blazing with resolve. Damn, pants wet or not, she was still a goddess in that moment. Zhao Yi steadied himself, seizing the opening. Normal firearms couldn't kill ghosts, but the impact alone had broken the fatal strike. Linlin screamed and fired 2 more rounds. The shadow staggered, frozen for a brief instant. Zhao Yi didn't flee. Instead, he paused, calculating. His eyes suddenly flared crimson. He rolled forward, closing the distance in a heartbeat. In a flash, he pulled out the property deed and slapped it onto the shadow. A spike hovered just above his skull, an inch lower, and his head would have burst like a melon. Then it triggered, ding, old Lu's property deed, unsealed. Forcefully seals one monster within 5 meters for 10 seconds. Cool down one day. The shadow froze on the spot. Run, Zhao Yi barked. They bolted for the door, but the exit was already swarmed by writhing black insects. Linlin raised her shotgun and pulled the trigger. The swarm exploded apart, clearing the way. They sprinted into the dark corridor without looking back. Seconds later, the shadow broke free of the seal. Viewers in the live stream held their breath. Are they done for? Bursting through the doors, the two dashed into the night, the twisted shadow hopping grotesquely after them. Its limbs moved in stiff, same-side strides, slowing it down. Zhao Yi seized the moment, hurling his scalpel. Slash! The blade pierced its chest. Not fatal, but enough to stall it. Using the window, they escaped the school building, widening the gap behind them. After a long sprint, Linlin collapsed against a wall, gasping that she couldn't go on. Zhao Yi scanned the surroundings. No sign of the shadow. Only then did he let out a breath. Where now? She asked. The computer lab, he replied. 3 hours until morning study. If we're lucky, we can dig up the truth about Qin Xiong. Linlin suddenly remembered something, thrusting the shotgun into his hands. Take this. Later, when domains unlock, using firearms can boost your mastery. Zhao Yi accepted without hesitation. This wasn't some ordinary weapon. It was bought from the system shop. While it couldn't kill ghosts, the stun effect was priceless for rookies. The livestream chat erupted. That shotgun cost 2,000 points in the shop, and she just gave it away. Well, Zhao, he saved her twice. Guess a gift like that's fair payback. 10 minutes later, the two finally reached the building that housed the computer lab. They found a room. Zhao, he drew his gun and fired at the lock. Clang! The lock clattered to the floor. The scene inside unfolded before them. Having learned from last time, Zhao Yi told Linlin to keep watch at the door while he strode inside. He booted up a computer and immediately started digging for information on Qin Xiong. Watching him hammer the keys like a man possessed, Linlin couldn't help but ask, "Well, any luck?" Zhao Yi's eyes never left the screen. This guy's background runs deep. Public info has been purged. But that's fine. I can access the Black Sea. The Black Sea? Linlin blinked. It's the trash heap of the internet, Zhao Yi explained. Data is never truly erased. Deleted code gets dumped there. But logging in is tricky. You have to compile, debug, and rebuild before gaining access. Linlin squinted at him. Were you a hacker before? How the hell do you know all this? Zhao Yi answered with a straight face. I'm a psychiatrist, but my mind can communicate with data. He went on. I once had a patient, a hacker with extreme delusional disorder. He claimed he could inject his spirit into the internet, swimming through endless oceans of code. At first, he wandered alone in that virtual world. Later, after treatment, I could enter with him. Linlin's jaw dropped. The live stream chat exploded. Bro, sounds like the one who needed therapy was you. LMAO, no wonder he's weird. Hanging around psych patients rubbed off on him. Come on, he's treated thousands of severe cases. He's trolling you guys. Linlin pressed on. And then what? Zhao Yi sighed. Then it was just me left in there. Because I cured his delusions. Linlin rolled her eyes. Didn't expect you to actually joke. I almost bought it. Just then, Zhao Yi's gaze sharpened. He snapped his fingers. I'm in. Linlin gawked. But the screen hasn't changed at all. A chill ran down her spine. Could he really be linking his mind to the data? In Zhao Yi's vision, however, everything was different. Information surged into his head. Chun Xiong's mother, after an argument with the homeroom teacher of Class 8, Grade 1, fell from the third-floor corridor. She died on August 13th, 3032. Cause of death, severe brain trauma. 1 week later, Chun Xiong infiltrated the school, butchered his homeroom teacher, Liang Ming, with a cleaver, splitting his head in two, then vanished. From that day, teachers and students at Shishan High began disappearing one after another. Within a month, no one was left. Police were dispatched in force, but the search turned up nothing. Hearing Zhao Yi's explanation, Linlin suddenly did the math. August 13th, 3032. 1 week later was August 20th, and a month after that, September 20th. Is it that the exact day our main mission is supposed to end? Zhao Yi nodded. Yes. The electronic calendar in the classroom also showed the year 3032, which means we've been thrown back into the final 7 days before the curse fully erupted. No wonder the roster only went up to September 19th. Exactly. On September 20th, everyone dies. Linlin's face fell. She had thought getting the roster meant survival was within reach, but now she realized how naive that was. Seeing her despair, Zhao Yi reassured her. At least this is only the first day. We still have time. Linlin drew a deep breath. If she stuck with Zhao Yi, her odds of surviving were still higher. She clenched her fists. We still have a chance. I have to stay strong. By now, the sky was beginning to brighten. A faint mist was spreading across the campus, thickening with every second. Linlin tensed. Zhao Yi, it's fogging up. Zhao Yi turned to look. His face hardened. Something was wrong. He instantly shut down the computer. The screen flickered back to its normal state. He bolted for the door, grabbing Linlin's hand as they sprinted into the hallway. Run. This fog is bad news. Zhao Yi barked as they ran. It drains your sanity bit by bit until you collapse into a monster. Linlin's head spun. Desperate to stay awake, she bit through her tongue, the sting of blood keeping her barely conscious. But the trick wasn't enough. Zhao Yi saw her fading fast and dragged her toward the water tower. He had planned to retreat to the dorms, but there was no time. Hiding in the tower was their only option. The first-floor door was sealed shut with iron chains. Luckily, Linlin had given him a shotgun earlier. With a thunderous crack, the bullet ripped through the chains. Clang! They dropped to the ground. Zhao Yi dragged her inside quickly, settling Linlin down first. He piled up debris against the iron door. And only after confirming the fog wasn't seeping in did he finally stop. The mist outside thickened further, and new data flickered before Zhao Yi's eyes. Ding, fog. High danger. Filled with countless horrors. If you don't want to meet them, find shelter fast. Without the fog gnawing at her sanity, Linlin slowly regained some strength. Her face was still pale, but her eyes lit up again. Thank you, you saved me once more. Zhao Yi was about to reply when his expression froze. He raised a shotgun, aiming past Linlin's shoulder. Come out. I'll only say this once. Linlin stiffened, panic rising. What is it? From the shadows came a faint rustling. Linlin's body went rigid, every hair on edge. Then, from a pile of junk, a gaunt man crawled out. He raised both hands, forcing a smile. Don't shoot. I'm not a monster. Linlin immediately ducked behind Zhao Yi. Being human. Low danger. Congratulations, you found another living being in this ghost school. No reward granted. Seeing this, Zhao Yi slowly lowered the gun. His eyes stayed sharp. Who are you? The man gave a bitter smile. It's a long story. This place isn't safe. Any moment things will break in. Follow me to the basement. He shifted a floor tile under his feet. Once inside, he finally relaxed. Name's Li Sheng, former investigator of supernatural cases, a city police department. Here's my badge. Zhao examined it carefully. Then they exchanged introductions. Zhao Yi asked, his fingers tracing the lampstand. Are you the only one left? Li Sheng slumped onto a battered sofa with a sigh. No. About 3 months ago, the police had already marked Shirshan High. Students and teachers began vanishing one after another. The city police sent in squads of officers, but they all came up empty-handed. Under mounting public pressure, the mayor had no choice but to call us in. After some preparation, I led a special response squad into this school to investigate, Li Sheng said. We never expected what came next. The squad had originally consisted of 27 members. But that day, the campus was shrouded in fog. They were ambushed by terrifying, unknown creatures. Fully armed as they were, the squad didn't even glimpse what they faced before they were almost wiped out. In the end, Captain Li Sheng escaped into the teaching building with just 6 survivors. When the fog finally cleared, they realized the school had sealed shut. Beyond the front gates stretched only endless, suffocating mist. With no way out, the 7 of them clung to life inside this cursed campus. Hearing this, Zhao Yi frowned, curiosity flashing in his eyes. Forgive me for asking, but those 6 teammates of yours? Li Sheng's face darkened. They're dead. Zhao Yi pressed further. If you've been trapped here for 3 months, then what do you eat? Li Sheng's expression twisted. That, I'd rather not answer. Zhao Yi's eyes narrowed. He had a grim guess. Just then, a strange sound echoed overhead, footsteps creaking on the floorboards like an old machine sputtering back to life. More followed, dense and chaotic, enough to make one's scalp crawl. The dim ceiling lamps swayed back and forth. Zhao Yi raised a hand, signaling the others to stay silent. His grip on the shotgun tightened as the 3 of them held their breath, straining to catch every noise above. What kind of monster could it be? The creature prowled overhead for a long time, pacing back and forth, before finally leaving. Only then did the 3 of them exhale in relief. Li Sheng lowered his voice, explaining he had only recently discovered this shelter. Otherwise, he would have been dead long ago. Before his words even faded, a system prompt flashed before Zhao Yi's eyes. Player Jintao has been assimilated into a dungeon monster due to low mental strength. Player Liu Bai has been killed by an unknown entity. Another message followed. Congratulations. Players Zhao Yi and Yang Linlin have triggered the hidden quest. Uncover the truth behind Shirshan High School. Reward: S rank score. Yang Linlin also received the notification. She covered her mouth, utterly stunned. Zhao Yi, however, remained calm. He turned toward Li Sheng. You've survived here for 3 months. Didn't you encounter anything horrifying? Li Sheng gave a bitter laugh. How could I not? Listen, Shirshan High School is trapped in a cycle of curses. Everyone here becomes like the Walking Dead, fated to die within 7 days. Then they revive, only to die again, over and over. And with each cycle, the horrors escalate. His body shivered as he spoke. I've seen it myself. On the 7th day of a previous cycle, every teacher and student marched through the school carrying their own bloody heads. Horrified, Yang Linlin asked, Then how did you survive? If you lasted 3 months, can't you help us endure just 7 days? Li Sheng sighed. I escaped into the water tower and stumbled upon this basement. That's the only reason I made it out alive. Yang Linlin's eyes lit up. I get it. The water tower must be a hidden safe zone. As long as we stay here and don't wander, we'll make it through 7 days. Li Sheng shook his head with a bitter smile. It's not that simple. The curse's power keeps spreading. At first, the water tower really was safe. The creatures outside would completely ignore it. But later, they started circling the tower. Then they knocked on the doors, testing if someone was inside. Eventually, they just barged in, searching every corner. During the last cycle's 7th day, I hid in this basement and nearly got exposed. If we hide here again this time, I fear he suddenly cut himself off. Above their heads, footsteps sounded once more, heavier and far more numerous. It was clear more than one creature was up there. If discovered, they'd be trapped rats, certain death. A pounding thud rattled the ceiling. A chilling aura seeped downward, raising goosebumps on their skin. Zhao Yi reacted instantly, jamming a ladder against the loose floor tile above. The tile was hollow underneath. He had to brace it, make the sound blend in with the others. Zhao Yi braced himself against the floor tile with his body. Yang Linlin and Li Sheng quickly pressed down on the ladder, not daring to slack off. The ghostly mist only suspected something. It hadn't confirmed the basement's existence yet. Each pounding blow reverberated through the heavy tile, sending violent tremors through Zhao Yi's body. The 3 of them clenched their teeth, holding firm without the slightest movement. At last, the creature above seemed satisfied and drifted away. Li Sheng gasped for breath, still shaken. See? I told you. The water tower isn't safe anymore. To survive the next cycle, either we find another shelter or we break the curse. Zhao Yi cast him a casual glance, but said nothing. Yang Linlin's eyes lit up. Break the curse? You know how? Li Sheng hesitated, then spoke softly. I know a way, but it's extremely difficult. Alone, I can't do it. I'll need help. Yang Linlin immediately said, We'll help you. Li Sheng paused, then nodded. All right, I'll trust you. Either way, dragging this out means certain death. Better to risk everything. He went on. From our previous research and investigation, we discovered the cycle of curses began with a single student. His name was Chun Xiong, a poor kid. At first, life was still bearable. Then his father died, buried alive in a mining accident back in their hometown. The mine owner vanished without paying a cent, leaving Chun Xiong and his mother to fend for themselves. His mother was disabled and survived by doing tailoring. Times were hard. Luckily, Chun Xiong had always worked hard. With top grades, he earned a scholarship to Shirshan High and received a sizable grant. The school should have been the cradle of his dreams, but fate intervened. His deskmate, Zhang Ye, was bright and beautiful. Over time, Chun Xiong grew obsessed with her. Then a transfer student arrived, Pang Xiao, the mayor's son. Pang liked Zhang Ye too and used his influence to swap seats with Chun Xiong. Suddenly, the top student found himself pushed to the back row. Aware of his poor background, Chun Xiong kept his head down. But once he saw Pang's hands slipping under Zhang Ye's clothes while she dared not resist, his anger finally broke loose. In revenge, he spent his scholarship money bribing several other poor classmates. One night, they dragged Pang into the grove and beat him badly. The entire incident was recorded by surveillance cameras. Under pressure, the captured boys pointed to Chun Xiong. The school expelled him. Chun Xiong's mother came to the school to plead. And during the argument, the teacher pushed her down the stairs, an apparent accident. The rest, you can guess. The matter was quietly suppressed by powerful interests. Days later, Chun Xiong snuck back into the school with a cleaver, killed the homeroom teacher, and vanished amid the ensuing manhunt. Li Sheng paused. That's the version the outside world knows, but it's not the whole truth. Chun Xiong didn't run away. He died inside the school. He perished in the underground garage in Zone B. His hatred is so potent it tainted the whole campus. To break the curse, you must destroy his corpse. If the body is destroyed, the curse ends. When we first entered the school, we carried a powerful weapon, but Chun Xiong's apparition struck before we could use it. The weapon was abandoned in a shaft labeled MANHWA in the West Zone underground garage. The special device requires identity verification to activate, but the scan doesn't take long. If you can lure Chun Xiong's spirit to me, I can initiate the weapon and destroy the body. It will only take 3 minutes. Linlin looked to Zhao Yi, anxious and eager. Should we help? Zhao Yi thought briefly and nodded. We will. Where do we move? Li Sheng's face brightened. Not tonight. Come to the water tower after dark tomorrow. I'll take you to the West Zone garage. The next night came quickly. Zhao Yi and Linlin waited in the cafeteria for darkness. Thanks to the roster, they'd survived the daytime in class. Otherwise, they likely would have been beheaded like some others. Zhao Yi shoveled food into his mouth and asked Li Sheng for very thin, very strong fishing line. Linlin blinked. What do you need that for? Zhao Yi answered coolly with 2 words. For killing. Linlin froze. Killing who? Zhao Yi looked up and fixed her with a steady gaze. Li Sheng. Seeing the other side wasn't joking, young Linlin panicked. If we kill Li Sheng, then who's going to break the curse for us? Zhao Yi chuckled coldly. If you're still counting on him to break the curse, then you're already halfway to the grave. Hearing this, young Linlin leaned closer and whispered, What do you mean? After a pause, Zhao Yi explained he lied. First, he's just an investigator, a sophomore in Class 8. Don't you think his descriptions of Chun Xiong are way too detailed? He even knew about Chun Xiong catching Mayor's son Pang, Xiao shoving his hand under Zhang Ye's clothes. Second, none of those 3 are on the roster. If things really happen the way Li Sheng described, then Chun Xiong, who has the power to plunge the whole school into darkness, would never have spared Pang Xiao and Zhang Ye. At the very least, he wouldn't have spared Pang Xiao. Third, that underground chamber under the water tower, there's no way he just stumbled across it. I suspect he built it himself. Young Linlin froze, disbelief all over her face. That's impossible. The curse has already spread across most of the school. How would he have had the time to build such a massive basement right under the noses of so many ghosts? Zhao Yi cut in immediately. No dust. That basement had no dust. I checked on purpose yesterday. Lampstands, couches, even the obstacles. Almost spotless. Way too clean. Basements don't get cleaned. If it's spotless, someone lives there. Just like you said, after the curse started, building a basement under the ghost's noses is impossible, which means it had to be built before the curse. And with the entrance so hidden, no lights at all, what do you think is more likely? That Li Sheng just stumbled on it while running from ghosts, or that he knew it existed all along? Young Linlin stood dumbstruck, a chill running through her. His observation skills were terrifying. But if he lied to us, then why? She asked. Zhao Yi explained. Psychology says a purposeful lie is usually half true. To make it sound logical and believable, you have to mix in real facts. For example, even without Chun Xiong turning ghostly, the West District parking lot definitely hides dangers we can't imagine. And Li Sheng really did want to enter that shaft marked with filthy fire. But once he goes in, he'll never come back. That's why he lied, so we'd risk our necks distracting the ghost outside for him. Layer by layer, Zhao Yi's breakdown made young Linlin completely believe him. She pulled a fishing line out from her storage space. Handing it to Zhao Yi, she asked softly, What do I need to do? Zhao Yi toyed with it. then said flatly, "You don't need to do anything. Whether this works or not, it all comes down to tonight. If we're lucky, tonight we end this curse." Darkness slowly fell. At that moment, Li Sheng was pacing nervously by the door. When he saw the two of them arrive, his eyes lit up instantly. "Why are you so late? We need to scout fast. Time's running out. By midnight, the ghost fog will cover the campus again." Zhao, he nodded. "Got it. Let's move now." The three of them crept toward the West District underground parking lot. As they moved, Li Sheng explained, "The garage has 3 entrances. That thing is roaming around in Zone C." Then Li Sheng laid out his plan. "You two go in from the west gate, make some noise to lure it, then split and escape through the other exits. Let it out of the garage. I'll stay hidden here. Once you pull the creature away, I'll rush in to activate the weapon." His tone carried an unnatural excitement. Zhao, he caught that look, and his suspicion only grew stronger. Still, he kept a straight face and went on with the plan. At a corner, Zhao, he pulled out a grenade, strapping it to the iron bar at the entrance. The pin was tied to a fishing line so thin it was invisible in the dark. The other end was hidden up his sleeve. Zhao Yi and Yang Linlin moved with caution, while outside, Li Sheng was on edge, sweating bullets. Since that last accident, he had been scraping by in this cursed school for months. Companions dying one by one, food running short. His survival hinged entirely on tonight. Soon, the two slipped into the garage. Wandering wraiths drifted everywhere. Zhao, he told Yang Linlin to stay put while he crept closer. As he approached, the red starlight in his eyes grew stronger, faintly glowing. Ding! Player Zhao Yi's source code error. Attempting to repair. Repair failed. Repair failed. The icy voice repeated endlessly in his mind. Darkness melted away in his vision. He saw the parking lot from a god's eye view, every corner laid bare, including the monstrous figure crouched in the shadows. X2, Quantum Riot State. Extremely dangerous. Moves at incredible speed. Can pass through most obstacles. Attack power, lethal. Behavior, massacre all living things. Prioritizes the loudest targets. Weakness 1, Schrodinger's cat. Weakness 2, the true-bodied duck. The red glow slowly faded from his eyes. For a few seconds he was dazed. Then his pupils snapped back to life. He pulled Yang Linlin toward a fork and hid. From cover, Zhao, he pulled out his phone, sending an OK message. Li Sheng replied with his own OK. In the darkness, a vicious grin spread across his face. Just die already. Once you're gone, I live. Blame yourselves for trusting a stranger's words. On the other side, Zhao Yi's lips curved into a smile as well. In an instant, he yanked the fishing line tight. The invisible thread snapped taut. Just as Li Sheng was about to move, the pin came loose with a metallic click. Boom! A deafening explosion lit up the garage, flames roaring out. The shockwave slammed Li Sheng into the wall with brutal force. He didn't even have time to process what happened. Before his eyes locked onto a dark silhouette sprinting toward him at terrifying speed. Shit! His heart nearly burst, adrenaline spiking through his veins. He bolted, dragging the shadowy monster away from Zone C. Zhao, he seized the chance, rushing with Yang Linlin toward the shaft carved with the words "filthy fire." On the way, Yang Linlin asked curiously, "Are you a newbie? Where'd you get the points for a grenade?" Zhao, he answered calmly, "I once had a patient who was an arms dealer. I cured his bloodlust, and he paid me back with a crate of grenades. So, I usually carry a few grenades on me. When I'm bored, I take them out and fiddle with them." Zhao, he said casually. Yang Linlin went speechless. After prying open the manhole, she pulled out a flashlight and handed it to Zhao Yi. He switched it on, and the beam swept across the shaft walls. There was no grime, no dust. The smooth alloy reflected the light sharply. When they reached the bottom, they found a dead end with a red button set in the center. Zhao, he guessed the button was an elevator control and pressed it. The elevator doors eased open. Once inside, it glided down with silk-like smoothness, the descent lasting a full 3 minutes. The doors opened onto a long, stark white corridor, an overwhelming sight that words couldn't capture. Who would expect such a structure buried hundreds of meters beneath a university? Zhao, he suspected it was some kind of bizarre research facility. Ever since meeting the headmaster, he'd had a lingering sense that something was off. Normally, the more powerful a ghost, the more its attacks are metaphysical, hard to counter with ordinary methods. But based on 2 runs through the instance, the boss, though powerful, used physical attacks, suggesting the headmaster wasn't a pure ghost, but some kind of creature. Clearly, the haunted school isn't a simple paranormal instance. Its scope is far larger than anyone expected. Zhao Yi said this with a hint of pleasure on his face. Yang Linlin motioned for him to look ahead. Lying in the corridor were several lab personnel in special suits, their bodies torn and mutilated as if ripped apart by a large beast. Whatever happened to them, one thing was certain. This place was not safe. Zhao Yi scanned the area, then led Yang Linlin toward a corner. Ahead stood a reinforced alloy door, its lock encrypted. He moved to the control console and discovered the door required facial recognition. Yang Linlin's face collapsed with worry. What do we do? If we turn back now, we might run into that terrifying shadow. Before she could finish, Zhao Yi suddenly pulled out a scalpel and walked over to a corpse. What are you doing? Yang Linlin's eyelids twitched as she hurried after him. Zhao Yi didn't answer. He's got to work. Moments later, he returned to the console, carrying a head. Yang Linlin recoiled and stepped aside, pale and nauseous, almost sick. With a crisp motion, Zhao Yi pressed the head against the facial scanner. Ding. Face recognized. As the prompt sounded, the heavy alloy door began to open slowly. Zhao Yi casually tossed the severed head into his inventory. Ding. Item obtained. Herdy's head. Quality white. Herdy never would have imagined that even in death, a psychopath would strip him of the last intact part of his body. As the alloy gate rumbled open, 3 branching corridors appeared. Yang Linlin followed closely behind, her hands slick with sweat on the gun. Clearly, this underground lab still held immense danger. They chose the far-right corridor to explore. Along the way, a severed hand clutched a strange manuscript. It read, "My dearest Lena, I heard the amusement park is finished. I promised I'd take you there. The project is almost done. Give me half a month, and Daddy will be home. Don't worry, this time I'll make it." Yang Linlin sighed softly. A loving father, still thinking about his daughter at the end. Zhao Yi replied flatly, "Yes, a good father, but also possibly a killer. The deaths of thousands outside the school may be tied to him." Yang Linlin fell silent. Suddenly, she felt no sympathy for the man at all. Then, from up ahead, came a shrill scraping sound. Both their bodies tensed instantly. They crept carefully toward the source of the noise. Holding their breath, they peeked around the corner. In the next second, a massive white leg swung into view, hundreds of tendrils sprouting from it, each tipped with grotesque, fist-sized human heads. Yang Linlin nearly lost it. What the hell is this? So disgusting. Yet Zhao Yi's eyes shone with obsession. What a beautiful creation. Viewers outside the stream were horrified. Beautiful? Are you insane? Now I get why he got excited over that elevator ghost in the last run. Yang Linlin's composure was unraveling. What should we do against this thing? Proceed carefully. Step by step, Zhao Yi answered coldly. With that, he drew his scalpel. Yang Linlin quickly raised her shotgun. But Zhao Yi suddenly charged straight at the monster. Ding! Exclusive prompt. Riot mutant. Medium-level threat. A mere prototype. The true quantum form outside is far stronger. Weakness. Hemorrhoid on its rear. Evidently, the lunatics running these experiments never considered that prolonged sitting would give even mutants hemorrhoids. The monster spotted Zhao Yi and thundered forward. Just as they were about to collide, Zhao Yi whipped out old Lu's property deed. In an instant, the monster was forced into the black room. With only 10 seconds of seal time, Zhao Yi darted behind it. His scalpel flashed, slashing straight at the swollen weakness. Scarlet blood erupted, blooming like a grotesque flower. The monster collapsed into a heap of sludge. Ding! Congratulations, you've slain the riot mutant. Your soul weapon has absorbed its residual eldritch meme and is reconstructing it. 0.01%. Insufficient power. Reconstruction of the meme cannot continue. Your soul weapon has gained the special ability, Entanglement. Any unit wounded by your soul weapon will spawn devourers from the injury until death. The strength of the devourers scales with your level and power. It was Zhao Yi's first time hearing the term eldritch meme. He had no idea what it truly meant, but rebuilding just 1/10,000th had boosted his stats by 8 points, and even granted a passive ability. The feeling was insane. Behind him, Yang Linlin asked nervously, "Is it dead?" Zhao Yi grinned. "Yeah, it's dead. It was supposed to be a perfect creature. Too bad its creator wasn't up to the task." With that, he raised his scalpel and began dissecting the corpse. Aside from the fact that the monster had 18 kidneys, there were no other useful discoveries. The two pressed on down the corridor. At the end, they came across a massive incubation chamber. The nearby consoles and machinery were splattered with blood. Zhao Yi pulled open a drawer beneath the chamber and found an experimental logbook. The entries read, August 7th, X 163 is stable. All organs are developing as planned. Oddly, when Tech Xiao He accidentally injected 3 times the dose of male hormones, its kidneys grew healthier and stronger. August 24th. The mayor inspected our progress and was very pleased. Once successful, we'll all earn millions in bonuses and even bring glory to humanity. My name will go down in history. August 26th. Rumors say the lunatics in the inner lab succeeded in shaping the quantum state. I don't know what that means, but it makes me uneasy. September 3rd. Over lunch, I asked a colleague if the creature rioted, could they stop it? He ignored me, bragging instead about their perfect creation, that one day it could grant humanity immortality. When I pressed further, he cursed me, smashed my tray. Sept 12th. Damn fools. What have they unleashed? September 13th. We've paid dearly for our arrogance. Everyone will die, myself included. After reading, Yang Linlin guessed, the lab must have suffered a violent outbreak. Their creation broke free, and then it killed everyone. Zhao Yi frowned, his mind racing. Neither the quantum riot outside nor the mutant we fought could appear out of nowhere. They must come from a base state, the original form of the experiment. He began operating the machine nearby. All I have to do is restore the data to its earliest configuration, and the base state will show itself. The machine word, stripping away layers of data. On screen, the monstrous form slowly reverted. First the legs, then the arms, finally the head. When the restoration was complete, Yang Linlin froze in shock. The monster's base state was human, a woman. Zhao Yi studied the projection on the screen, thoughtful. The creature's cells are extremely active and adaptive. That means this girl was young. If I had to guess, she was probably one of the students from this school. Yang Linlin shivered. You're saying this massive underground lab was built to turn students into monsters? Are these people criminals or just lunatics? Zhao Yi paused, then said, that thing we dissected had 18 kidneys, each one young and fresh. This lab may very well be selling human organs. If their experiment worked, the girl cells could spawn more monsters. That means an endless supply of kidneys, like creating a living money vault. But clearly, this wasn't their only project. The log mentioned they were shaping some kind of quantum state creation, and they succeeded. The shadow we faced outside was likely the same quantum riot described in the log. Yang Linlin trembled with rage. Those bastards, building a human experiment base beneath a school, turning kids into monsters. They've lost all humanity. Zhao, he shook his head coldly. No, they didn't build a lab under a school. They built a school on top of a lab. Yang Linlin froze. What? The construction here is too complex. There's no way they could have built it in secret after the school was finished. Which means the lab came first. Sure, Shanghai itself was part of their plan. They needed young, healthy test subjects, And tell me, besides government departments, what better cover is there than a famous school to monitor youth and their health data? Come on, all we need is evidence to prove this theory, and we'll clear the hidden mission. With that, Zhao he led Yang Linlin down another corridor. On the way, he skinned a mutant with 18 kidneys. Yang Linlin gagged and vomited on the spot. Zhao he admired the skin with satisfaction, then reluctantly stowed it into his storage space. They continued down the opposite hall. At the end, they found a massive white cafeteria. Peering through the crack in the door, they observed carefully. Inside, countless monsters were feasting on the rotting bodies of the lab staff. Yang Linlin clutched her mouth in horror. This many? How many students must have gone missing? And the police never investigated. Zhao Yi's face darkened. Whoever built this place has immense influence. Most likely the mayor of a city. But he couldn't have done it alone. There must be a massive organization behind him. Fear crept into Yang Linlin's voice. So what now? Do we leave? Zhao Yi didn't answer. He just smiled, pulled the flayed skin from his storage, and tore it in half. Then he handed one piece to Yang Linlin. Yang Linlin instantly realized Zhao Yi's plan. She swore she'd never wear that disgusting thing and turned to run, but the next second Zhao Yi yanked her back. With a face like she just swallowed filth, she was forced into the stinking, grotesque coat. The stench of blood and monster hide masked their human scent, but if the creatures saw through it, they'd be ripped apart in an instant. Zhao Yi dragged Yang Linlin and pushed open the cafeteria door. A loud creak echoed. In a flash, thousands of twisted monsters turned their heads toward them. Their eyes were filled with doubt. These two looked like kin, yet clearly not. The creatures slowly approached, probing. Yang Linlin's legs trembled harder with every step they took. Zhao Yi, however, was thrilled. Relax. He pulled her forward, walking right up to the monsters. Though engineered to be vicious, these creations targeted humans. Toward their own, they were oddly tolerant. One girl monster, half her face rotted and bone spines jutting from her skull, let out a strange sound as if questioning them. Zhao Yi mimicked her voice and gestured perfectly. The monster's confusion deepened. She questioned him again. Zhao Yi repeated every sound exactly. After a few exchanges, the monster finally seemed to get it. This kin was nothing but an emotionless echo. Losing interest, they scattered back to their feast. Yang Linlin exhaled sharply. She had imagined countless clever escapes, but never this. Zhao Yi faking a broken recorder. And it worked. Completely absurd. With no monsters blocking them, they roamed the cafeteria. Zhao Yi noticed 16 doors in total, yet only one was never used. Every creature avoided it, detouring whenever they passed. Hearing this, Yang Linlin whispered, "Should we check it? If we go now, won't they notice?" Zhao Yi nodded. "Yeah, not the right time yet. Let's look for other clues first." They turned a corner and saw two monsters gorging themselves. Disgusting, Yang Linlin gagged again. One of the monsters noticed them and eagerly offered its food. Zhao Yi froze, speechless. With the tension this high, refusing wasn't an option. To show respect, he scooped up a handful of maggots and shoved them into his mouth. Yang Linlin was struck dumb, horrified beyond words. Seeing him eat, the monster's suspicion vanished. They let out eerie chuckles. "You know what's good? That's the best part." Zhao Yi seized the chance to rummage beneath the corpse. A particular manuscript caught his eye. It read, X2 fusion failed. Orders came to destroy it. Years of work wasted. The data was flawless. So why didn't it succeed? Will Shirshan Lab repeat the disaster of Gushuan Town? We don't fear death, but we can't accept failure. The mayor told us to evacuate with the data and erase everything in Shirshan. But we won't stop here. Tonight, we make our final gamble. Gushuan Town again. Zhao Yi's brows furrowed tightly at the name. Just then, a system prompt echoed in their ears. "Congratulations, players Zhao Yi and Yang Linlin. Hidden mission / investigate the truth behind Shirshan High completed. Rewards will be issued after the main quest ends." The manuscript confirmed Zhao Yi's suspicion. Shanghai had been built for the underground lab. Those outstanding students gathered from other worlds had all become test subjects. He remembered the twisted shadow he had seen in the Elephant Hospital dungeon. Judging from a note, that shadow must have been X1, which meant the labs weren't limited to Elephant Hospital and Shanghai. With that thought, he turned to Yang Linlin. She was quietly sobbing. Zhao, he quickly pulled her away from the spot, stopping only when they reached the strange door no monsters dared to approach. "Why are you crying?" he asked. Yang Linlin whispered, "I know we cleared the hidden mission. Even if I die now and respawn at the guild base, it's already a huge win. But seeing all those students in the cafeteria, I just can't feel happy. They once dreamed of a bright future. They poured an endless effort to get into this school, and yet they walked into a man-made hell. They were brutally turned into monsters. I can't even imagine how desperate they must have felt, lying helpless on those operating tables." Zhao, he patted her shoulder gently. "Sympathy won't help them now. We need to push the main quest. Maybe we can expose the mastermind behind this lab." Yang Linlin wiped her tears and steadied herself. "So what do we do now?" Zhao, he answered seriously. "First, we figure out how to form an alliance with the shadow in the garage." Yang Linlin swallowed hard, stunned. "Alliance? With that thing? Are you insane?" Zhao, he explained calmly. "From the way it hunted Li Sheng, it's most likely the lab's ultimate creation, X2, a quantum state abomination. Unstable, but incredibly strong." Yang Linlin froze. "And you still want to ally with it? It'll kill you before you even speak." Zhao, he countered. "If it's that powerful, why does it just linger at the entrance?" Yang Linlin thought for a moment. "Maybe it can't find its way, so it just wanders there?" Zhao, he shook his head. "No, more likely, it's guarding the entrance. The way it attacked Li Sheng the moment he made noise proves it doesn't want anyone entering through the shaft. And the monsters inside, they'd rather gnaw on rotting corpses than leave. That means something outside terrifies them. Clearly, it's not X2. If X2 wanted them dead, it could wipe them out instantly. The only real threat must be the curse, the unknown ghosts hidden in the mist." Yang Linlin asked, uneasy, "So you're saying the monsters and the mist are enemies?" Zhao, he nodded and pulled out the crucial note. The mayor of a city ordered the staff to evacuate with the data. He promised to destroy everything here. After reading the note, Yang Linlin suddenly understood. The cursed fog was their plan, to erase every trace of the experiments here. A grin spread across Zhao Yi's face. "Exactly. Those unknown ghosts hidden in the mist are the true hunters. They're the real enemies tied to both the main and side quests." His expression made Yang Linlin's skin crawl. "That fog is even harder to deal with. What the hell are you so happy about?" Zhao, he chuckled darkly. "Now the conflict is clear. The mayor of a city wants the curse to wipe out every trace of the base and the school. But X2 wants to preserve it. That means it has self-awareness. And for us, that's good news, because the enemy of our enemy is a friend. If we can communicate with it, we might get critical intel about the curse. It could even help us finish the quest faster." Yang Linlin was silent for a moment, then reached out to check his forehead. "No fever. Then why are you spouting nonsense?" Zhao, he shoved her hand away. "Forget it. Explaining to you is too much trouble. Just follow me." The two of them waited quietly in the lab for a long time. "Bored?" Yang Linlin asked. "What are we waiting for?" Zhao, he replied. "For the cafeteria monsters to rest. They may be altered humans, but they're still living creatures. They'll get tired, and when they sleep, that's our chance. We sneak through the door while they're down. If I'm right, what's inside is connected to X2. But how do we even get in?" "There's a password." Before she could finish, Zhao, he raised his scalpel. In one swift motion, he severed a staff member's head. Carrying the head, Zhao, he walked to the biometric lock. Beep. Face recognition successful. With a mechanical hiss, the heavy door slowly opened. The two crept inside cautiously, and what they saw beyond the door made their hair stand on end. Lying before them was a massive tank filled with green fluid. Inside floated a dense, tangled network of human-like nerves and blood vessels. At the very top of the network, a brain and a pair of eyes were still attached. What the hell is this thing? Yang Linlin shivered, unable to stop the chill running down her spine. Zhao Yi's eyes, however, gleamed with fascination. This is a masterpiece. They stripped away everything, leaving only the vital blood vessels and nerves. The nutrient fluid keeps the cells alive, while external stimulation replaces the heart to maintain circulation. He added calmly, among all the patients I've known, only one person could ever pull off a full neural extraction like this. The live chat exploded. No way, that's impossible. I'm a medical school graduate, and I can tell you this. In theory, it's possible. But we only practiced on cadavers, never living subjects. For this kind of nerve stripping, anesthesia wouldn't even work. The patient would have to be fully awake through the entire procedure. Yang Linlin edged closer to the tank. You're saying it's still alive? Zhao Yi nodded. Exactly. The nutrient solution and machinery are insanely expensive. Those lunatics wouldn't waste all this just to keep a corpse preserved. She stared at the creature in disbelief. It's really alive? Then what must it be feeling now? Cold pain, or just endless despair? With that, Zhao Yi walked over to another lab table, where a thick notebook lay open. On the first page it read, "The higher god said, focus is the key to gather one's spirit. Kindness is the lock that seals power. Rage and fear are the keys that break it open." It looked like some kind of mixture between theology and philosophy. Just as Zhao Yi pondered, Yang Linlin's sudden scream cut through the air. "Zhao Yi, come look." On the tag was an electronic tag that read, X2 prototype, Chun Xiong. Adaptability, 96%. Mental cohesion, excellent. Zhao Yi froze. Chun Xiong, the top student who was expelled for early romance, turned into this grotesque web of nerves and blood vessels? Interesting. So Chun Xiong was used to create X2, Zhao Yi muttered. After a moment's thought, he turned to search for the list of participants. Sure enough, several familiar names appeared. Research staff, Zhangya, Pang Xiao, Li Sheng. Zhao Yi raised a brow, his mind racing. So Pang Xiao was never the mayor's son, and Zhangya was never the goddess of Class 8. They were researchers in disguise, hunting for test subjects inside the school. Both play their roles, deliberately approaching Chun Xiong, following the notebook's instructions to break his kindness and unleash the demon within. After all, the better the grades, the sharper the focus. And people without focus rarely achieve much in academics. This so-called top school was nothing more than a filter designed to pick out students with extreme concentration for experimentation. No wonder Zhangya and Pang Xiao never showed up on a roster. They weren't students at all, most likely researchers who vanished before the curse hit. Just as Zhao Yi finished his deduction, a chilling voice cut in. You've guessed most of it right. Out of the shadows staggered Li Sheng, missing an arm, his face twisted in malice. An MP5 leveled at them. But those two bastards didn't run. They died just like me. Surprised? I crawled my way in through hell itself. Your little game ends here. His breath was ragged, yet the gun didn't waver. Yang Linlin shrieked and threw her hands up. Zhao Yi, unfazed, kept walking slowly. Stop. One more step and I'll blow your brains out. Li Sheng roared, eyes bloodshot. Zhao Yi smirked. Go on then. If you had bullets, you'd have fired long ago. Don't tell me you're still holding back. Li Sheng's face twisted and he pulled the trigger. Bang. The bullet tore into Yang Linlin's left leg. She collapsed with a cry, clutching her wound. I wasn't even the one taunting you. Why shoot me? Li Sheng stammered, panicked. Sorry. I'll aim properly this time. He raised the gun toward Zhao Yi again, but blood loss blurred his vision. Bang! Another shot. Yang Linlin's other leg erupted in blood. The livestream chat went wild. Bros got a personal grudge. Moment of silence for Goddess Linlin. LOL. That gun should be called the Widowmaker. Zhao Yi remained calm, stripping cloth from their clothes, tearing it into makeshift bandages, and quickly wrapping her wounds. Then he looked at Li Sheng. All right, you played us once. Now we played you. By my math, that means you owe us one. So, tell me, what can you do for us? Li Sheng trembled with rage at Zhao Yi's shameless jab. Who the hell says I owe you anything? If you weren't useful, I'd spray a whole mag through you. He swallowed his anger and said slowly, since you've come this far, you already know how everything went down. Yeah, we did it. The curse on this school, it's on us. If you want to get out, you have to find a way to shut that curse off. As he worked the console beside the tank, he explained, shut down X2's life pod and the Ride X2 dies. The remaining mutants won't pose much of a threat. The organization will send people to turn off the curse and clean everything up soon. Zhao, he stepped forward and cut him off. Don't fool yourself. The organization isn't coming. Once X2 loses power, the ghost in the mist will flood the facility. Think you can hold them back? Li Sheng's face darkened. I was part of the experiments. I hold secret data they don't. I'm valuable. The organization won't ditch me. Zhao, he met his gaze. If you were that valuable, they'd have rescued you already, not left you rotting here. Put your trust in us, not in some faceless group. Right now, we're the only crew you can count on. Li Sheng snapped, pressing his MP5 into Zhao Yi's forehead. One wrong word, and I'll blow your brains out. Zhao, he didn't flinch. Feeling abandoned stings, huh? You were loyal as a dog, and this is your reward. They fed you promises while using you. Now they throw you away like trash. Don't be stupid. Want to live? Listen, only we can help you now. Kill me, and that's suicide. Li Sheng ground his teeth and glared at Zhao Yi, the hand holding the gun visibly shaking. Shut up, he snapped. The livestream audience watched in terrified silence. Everyone worried he might accidentally pull the trigger and put a bullet in Zhao Yi's head. In the end, Li Sheng slowly lowered the weapon. He slumped to the floor, utterly spent. He pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and took a long, hard drag as if trying to breathe back some composure. Look at me now. Do I look pitiful to you? He asked in a low voice. Yang Linlin, clutching her wounded leg, glared at him with fury. You got the nerve to call yourself pitiful? What about the students you tortured and that bundle of nerves in the tank? Aren't they the ones who deserve pity? Li Sheng managed a bitter smile, exhaustion and regret in his eyes. Do you think I wanted any of this? My daughter, she's in their hands. 7 years ago, my wife died of cancer. Before she passed, she made me promise to take care of our daughter. His voice broke as the memory hit him. Tears fell down his face that I failed my wife, he choked out. Now, I'm afraid I'm going to fail my daughter too. The line hit Yang Linlin like a punch. She suddenly remembered the manuscript she'd seen taped to the severed hand. She demanded, Are all your families being held by that organization? Li Sheng nodded helplessly. He gave a weary laugh. You think we're beyond redemption, but we had no choice. If they force you to choose between your family and a stranger, who would you pick? He shot back. Yang Linlin fell silent, the weight of his question sinking in. Put in his shoes, many people might make the same selfish choice. Human nature is what it is. Li Sheng wiped his face and said, All right, let's talk cooperation. The fact you two infiltrated the school proves this place isn't ordinary. Help me with one task, and I'll tell you how to shut the curse down. Zhao Yi grinned. You're not asking us to go rescue your daughter, are you? Li Sheng shook his head. Do you really think you're capable? Get near the organization, and you'll be discovered and taken out in no time. Besides, you'd be better off without that idiot woman tagging along. Might buy you a few more days, he added bitterly. Yang Linlin exploded. Screw you, your whole family's the idiots. Zhao Yi studied him for a long beat, then asked, Fine. What exactly do you want us to do? Li Sheng struggled to his feet, his movements heavy and weak. Stumbling, he made his way to a corner of the room. He pulled open one of the cabinets, then tore away the wallpaper covering its hidden compartment. A metal safe was revealed before their eyes. Li Sheng pressed his fingerprint and entered the password, fumbling for a moment, before finally retrieving a strange vial. Breathing heavily, he handed the vial to Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi asked suspiciously what it was. Li Sheng explained it was the product of another project, still unstable, but no less dangerous than X2. The organization will never abandon this thing, he muttered. Maybe months, maybe years. Even if this place becomes a wasteland, they'll send people back to retrieve it. If it falls into their hands, the consequences will be catastrophic. He shook his head violently, trying to stay awake. But the blood loss was too much. His dizziness only worsened. The curse. It all comes from a single magic box, he said through clenched teeth. Shut the box, and the curse will vanish. Take the passage I used to get here. The box lies at the center of that fog. The things in the mist won't attack what they perceive as dead fog. If you can suppress your emotions, you might make it through. They sense emotional waves, your brain signals, before they decide whether you're prey. Remember this, whatever you see in that fog, don't be shocked, don't be afraid. The moment your emotions flare, the demons nearby will smell fresh meat. With those muddled words, Li Sheng collapsed into unconsciousness. Yang Linlin rushed to stop the bleeding, but Zhao Yi shook his head, telling her not to waste her strength. Hunger has already drained him to the bone. During his escape, adrenaline wrung the last reserves out of him. Now, with this much blood loss, unless he's rushed to a real hospital for a transfusion, even the best doctor alive couldn't save him. Standing nearby, Yang Linlin's chest tightened. Do you really think he was telling the truth? She asked. Zhao Yi paused in thought before replying. From a psychiatrist's perspective, I'd say he was. But clearly, this isn't the path the system left for us. There must be a simpler way to break this curse, Zhao Yi muttered. Otherwise, even if someone knew the method, 99% of them would die trying. Yang Linlin leaned against the wall with a helpless sigh. So, do we need to find another way to undo the curse? Zhao Yi stared at the hidden passage, eyes gleaming with eagerness. No, the shortcut may be brutal, but it's the most direct and the most effective. Yang Linlin warned, it's too dangerous. Even if your sanity doesn't drain in the fog, one slip of emotion and the wraiths will tear you apart. Zhao Yi's eyes lit up with fascination. Relax. I've treated thousands of psychiatric patients. Controlling my emotions? That's my specialty. I'm leaving now. Yang Linlin didn't follow. She knew she couldn't hold her sanity like he could. Going along would only drag him down and get her killed. To her, sneaking extra points from a hidden quest was already a win. All she had to do now was wait in the lab for Zhao Yi to clear the stage. Zhao Yi wandered through the passage for a long while, until finally a lone elevator appeared ahead. The passage ran deep underground, and the shaft was the only way up. Unlike the elevator guarded by X2, this one required member clearance, keeping the cursed fog outside. Zhao Yi once again pulled out Hetty's severed head from his inventory. Didn't think a face this rotten could still pass security. The elevator slowly rose to the very top. The moment the doors slid open, a suffocating wave of killing intent slammed into him. Outside stood a woman drenched in blood, her back turned to him. Ding! Scarlet Ghost. Extremely dangerous. A cursed wraith that feeds on fear. Weakness. Its senses are veiled by the rules, so it hunts only through emotions. To someone as cold as you, it'll mistake you for a rock. Extra note. Gorgeous ghost girl. Sure you don't want to smash? The ghost was gnawing on an arm. Zhao Yi instantly recognized it as Li Sheng's severed limb. No wonder Li Sheng risked X2 instead of this passage. Something far worse was lurking here. Zhao Yi stepped out of the elevator, pressing himself friendly close against the ghost's back. Not trying to play Undead Night here. She's just blocking the damn door. The ghost felt the heat behind her and whipped around. Her horrific face made the livestream audience break out in cold sweat. Man and ghost locked eyes, staring at each other for several seconds straight. Smack! A slimy, foul-smelling tongue slapped across Zhao Yi's face. One flicker of emotion, and he'd be devoured on the spot. But seconds passed without a twitch, and the ghost finally pulled her tongue back. Zhao Yi calmly pulled out a handkerchief, wiped the drool away, and gave an awkward yet polite smile. Then, under her baffled stare, he strolled off. Zhao Yi sniffed. Ever since that weird system update, these notes are getting way too trollish. He climbed up the stairway hidden in the passage. soon reaching the sports equipment room of the school gym. No fog here, but an eerie nursery rhyme echoed in the air. On August 8th, cut your hair. After the hair, cut your mom. Sew mom into a doll. Following the voice, Zhao Yi searched the room and found it coming from a little girl. The live stream audience buzzed with tension. What's he gonna do? Just stab the kid outright? Zhao Yi walked up and patted the girl on the head, then flicked his hand in disgust. Greasy. Bet this ghost hasn't washed her hair in days. Little one, which way to the center of the fog? At his words, the girl fell silent for a long moment, then numbly raised a hand and pointed ahead. Zhao Yi simply said, "Thanks," and strode away, leaving her frozen in confusion. She couldn't understand. Why would a stone talk? From that test, Zhao Yi understood everything. Stripped of their six senses by the rules, these creatures couldn't track sound, smell, or sight, and wouldn't even react to being touched or attacked. Only strong emotions, fear, terror, excitement, would draw their attention. Outside the gym, the fog thickened, packed with more and more wraiths. In the haze loomed horrors, a headless ballerina twirling, a demon hammering away at a piano made of bones, a butcher dragging a massive cleaver, and a slit-mouthed woman grinning ear to ear. They drifted back and forth in the mist, hunting. Zhao Yi walked straight through the fog, sanity locked at 101, face utterly blank. The livestream chat held its breath. One slip, and he was done for. The deeper he went, the more vicious and terrifying the apparitions became. A single wail from a corpse infant made blood pour from his 7 orifices. He almost collapsed dead on the spot. A pitch-black elk fixed its gaze on Zhao Yi. Instantly, worms sprouted from his leg, and the flesh began to rot away. A paper effigy, its face smeared with garish paint, exhaled toward him. Ghostly flames erupted across his body, burning him beyond recognition. Yet his expression never wavered, not even a flicker of pain. The livestream audience held their breath, nerves stretched to the breaking point. After what felt like forever, the fog ahead finally parted, revealing 2 corpses twisted like broken dolls. Zhao Yi studied them for a moment, guessing they were Zhangya and Pang Xiao. But at this point, it hardly mattered. He crouched down and yanked the worm out of his leg. Then he pulled out his scalpel and sliced open its belly. Instantly, black tendrils sprouted from its body, offspring of an eldritch meme, passive feeders born of corruption. The worm convulsed a few times before going limp. Bright flowers bloomed along the tendrils, only to wither in seconds. With the parasite dead, the decay in his legs ceased. After bandaging the wound, Zhao Yi approached a golden box resting on the ground. Its craftsmanship was exquisite, like an ancient relic. Carefully, he lifted the lid. From within rose a small golden pagoda, its body shining with starlight, emitting a melody as clear as the heavens. Zhao Yi was momentarily entranced, but he snapped back to his senses, slammed the lid shut, and clutched the box tight. Dark sigils flared across its surface, releasing waves of black miasma. Fog churned overhead as a monstrous face materialized in the sky, sucking in both the surrounding wraiths and the ominous haze in one terrifying gulp.